Is his profile better because of the headphones off? Let me see. Yeah, that's what he doing. He an asshole. He gonna make us wear this big Chewbacca shit on our head, and he's sitting over there like clean.
This is how to watch TV.
Live from 9 Mile Studio. My name's Joel Henderson. With me as always,
I am Jeremy Visitis.
And I'm Dre Brown.
We are brought to you by our producer here, Comeuppance Network. Check out all of our past and previous and current content at don'teva.com. Also sponsored by 9 Mile Branding. Signs, banners, decals. 9milebranding.com.
have you ever heard somebody sound so bored to promote their own stuff? Go on.
It's amazing. You know what? Today I'm going to change up my sponsorship level. I'm going to say we're sponsored by Granny Smith Learning Academy out of South Holland, Illinois. If you got young children and you need them to be taken care of, go over to Granny Smith Learning Academy, South Holland, Illinois. Just Google us, Facebook or whatever. Holla at us.
Okay, we are here this week because that's what we do. We do a podcast every week.
Yes, sir.
So
Yes,
if you're here with us, that's why you're here, because you knew we were going to do a podcast, because that's what we do on roughly this day every week. We're going to talk about three things today from the show on Epix. If you haven't seen it, sorry, you should have. I think we definitely said we were going to watch this, didn't we?
Yeah. Where's the show from?
We didn't talk about it?
I don't remember mentioning this on...
I thought we did on a
We
few.
did, but I don't think it was on a podcast.
Hold on, wait. I got
Oh, okay, maybe that was on a pre-podcast.
I got a hacky joke. Where's this
Go
show
on.
from?
I
was trying to do a who's on first thing, but you know what? It
Epix?
don't work. It's just a dumb name. That's all I'm saying. I'm starting out the gate. I'm saying I don't like From's title.
It's another one-word title by the producers of another one-word title show that Joel was completely head over heels in love
Lost
with.
is actually functional. From is just the start of something.
But you'd only know that it was functional because you got to watch the whole thing.
No,
and
it's
see that
functional. The word lost, it's like lost. You could just write lost on a board somewhere, and people
so
walk
you don't
past
like-
and they'll say, "Oh, somebody was lost," or "That item is lost." You could just write lost, and it's a functional word. From? No.
I'm interested that we've seen 2 episodes, which is what we're going to discuss here, the first 2 episodes, and there's been no mention of, hey, where are you from? Like, nothing. I haven't really heard the word, like, anybody asking where somebody's from, or any inclination of that being...
What are you talking about in the show?
In the show.
Oh, I gotcha. Okay. No, that's all up to us to make the dumb, hacky jokes.
They didn't even say where they coming from.
Right. That's what I mean. They didn't. So it could be where the things are from, or where it could be any number of things by the end of it. We are literally at the very beginning. Go on. What kind of acronym?
Freaky random old monsters. I don't know. From.
I mean, it works. It's not great, but it works.
Fair enough. I mean, I loved the first thoughts. I loved the abandoned aesthetic. Like right off the bat, it really reminded me of Gary. Like when they went to that post office, like it looks like the buildings there and the writing where it was like that standoff lettering. You know about all that.
Mm-hmm.
That it looked just like something in Gary, like the same font and everything.
Yeah, they're open-faced can letters with neon.
It's crazy. Joel embraces the downfall of major U.S. cities. And
I just said I liked the abandoned aesthetic in the show because it reminded me of Gary.
I know.
And I explore Gary. Lost to Time, if you want to. Anyways, I liked the musical choices right off the bat. Like
I did like the theme song. The theme song was, I don't know if it's an original song or if it's an old song or...
It sounded kind of True Detective season 1-ish.
Yeah, I gave you... Now, to be fair, I
like the mood of it, you know?
I was working while trying to watch these episodes, so I heard the song, but I was on the other side of the vehicle I was working on, so I did not see the opening sequence. What does the opening sequence look like?
It was a lot of like children's drawings of things, and then it would kind of fade.
Remember that just
it would
now.
kind of fade into the
Well,
real version of it sometimes, and then sometimes it wouldn't, but it would show things that we would end up seeing in the first 2 episodes. I didn't notice that until we had already seen it in the episode.
Okay, so
gonna
I
try to
will.
stay
When I rewatch them, I'll pay more attention to the opening.
But that song
Because again,
that they
I was
played at
trying
the
to catch
diner-
up with this while I was working.
Yeah,
all
and
day,
it
so-
actually makes sense once you get to the second episode why
Right.
they open up the show with those drawings. Well, it doesn't make sense,
But
but
they-
it's
yeah,
connected.
exactly.
Both times hearing the opening song, I can remember being like, "That's fitting."
For the show.
It's creepy and
But even like the
still
music
kinda
they're using
cool
for the
and-
soundtrack,
sure.
like the one
Oh,
in the diner,
it's
the "We Gotta
very-
Get Out of This Place," like that felt very Lost-like.
right. And I
Where they pick
And
those old songs
so
and
my
make
first
them
so
in
my
different
first thought
context.
when I heard that and so that was like as they were shutting the doors and it panned over to the jukebox and then the jukebox clicked on "We Gotta Get Out of This Place" or whatever, started playing. Yeah, my brain goes, Joel's gonna love this. Joel's I'm already like rolling my eyes.
Why?
And,
Why
like,
did you think I was gonna
Well,
love
no,
it?
because I don't know, man. It's just your kind of thing. I can tell already. And
He seems really annoyed that he knows my thing.
well, no, it's not. It's annoyed because I'm afraid it's going to get to a point where I don't like the show, and I'm annoyed that you like the show.
Joe gonna be like, "This is the second coming of Christ, baby. It's the best show
Like
of
I'm
all
like
time."
not going to give it any kind of credit
I-
at all
I-
yet.
I
It's
thought-
decent so far.
I
Right?
thought the show was really good. I thought it was well put together. I
is.
like the aesthetic. Actually, it didn't turn me off. It wasn't like when I first looked at that show we were discussing, that animated show.
Arcane. You
Arcane.
didn't like
Which I
the
think
look.
is
didn't like
this
the
is the
aesthetic
exact
of that
reason that
show.
he won't give Raised by Wolves a chance. It's the
Yeah,
setting. He
could
can't
be.
get into it.
But yeah, I mean, but this one didn't do that. When
No,
I
fair
turned it
enough.
on, I felt Walking Deadish. I felt
Well, that's worth discussing here. I got to stop you there. So Jeremy and I had seen the trailer for this. I saw it, and then like, you got to check this out.
still haven't seen it.
And then we told Dre, "Hey, we're gonna watch this show. Check it out." And we all bought Epix or whatever, and then watching, whatever from.
shout out Epix, sponsor our show.
Epix, yeah.
They
Wait,
got.
I don't.
They
I,
have to
like.
have
I honestly, I
something to
don't.
do,
I was
'cause
trying to think if I had ever even heard of it before.
I've seen the logo.
I
on
saw
my
it
Roku.
like. Well, here's the thing. I'm on a Lost
it?
subreddit, and
Mm-hmm.
people post things that the actors from Lost also do, like other things that their projects they're upcoming
Okay.
in. So this was posted months ago. So I've been kind of looking forward to it because I saw that same trailer, the one that I showed you back then. But what that trailer gave away was that they were stuck in this town. Like,
Yeah.
nobody could come or go. Well, nobody could go. People could show up. But they gave that away right away. They showed the grandma coming to the window. They showed that it killed the girl. Like, they showed blood all on the inside of the window after that. So I already kind of had the vibe of what it was going to be, but watching it, I think I would have enjoyed the first episode more, especially if I had no
didn't know.
idea
I agree
of
with
what
you
it
there.
was.
Because that's how you ended up.
I watched it.
Watch
I
it.
didn't
You had
know if it was a
nothing.
comedy, a survival horror, whatever it could have been. I just watched it based on the title. Honestly, I don't even remember like consciously looking at the thumbnail when I clicked on it. I want to say I turned it on like 1:15 in the morning or something like that. So I just kind of turned it on and started watching it.
Right.
And this was a mistake.
I mean, like I said, we saw it coming. Jeremy and I knew that was going to be a thing because they basically showed it. They just didn't show the
Yeah,
full
okay.
teeth version of
But
it.
it was still terrifying, nonetheless.
It didn't scare me any more than anything from like Suicide Squad. Like the things with the big teeth and the scare, like that was all that it was.
It was just a jump scare, but it was an effective one, and the creepiness of it was built upon. It was set up well with everybody kind of like, let's shut.
And if
this
you hadn't
town
seen
down.
that trailer at all, then
Right.
yeah,
I would have
can-
enjoyed that differently. I think.
I think your text said something like, "You can." I didn't know you can unlock lifelong fear as well into your
lifelong
40s.
fear. In my 40s, like I just got a new fear. I'm scared of windows now. Thank you, fun. Now I'm afraid of
scared
windows.
of windows
I'm scared of
now.
windows. I gotta switch to Mac because I refuse to use Windows.
That was the funniest joke Dre has done on this podcast yet. I just wanted to commend him. I really enjoyed that. That was very funny and on the spot and witty. I'm hoping you didn't have that one in your pocket already.
I wrote that on the ride over. Sorry, guys.
And welcome back to the one with Joel and Jeremy. I'll just
Right, just the white man trying to silence the brothers. But no,
I thought
listen.
you were gonna say
it
put
was
me
really
down
good.
or bring me down, and I was gonna say let's not
Yeah, why is my
acknowledge.
square at the bottom?
Well, you're just right there.
Don't look at me, man. I didn't set it up.
It's your studio.
Look, check it out.
Right, that guy. But no, I thought it was pretty dope, man. I liked it. Like I said, I like the aesthetic. I like how
The job thing.
now that thing.
I didn't notice
that. I didn't notice that until
They had their
you brought it
jobs
up.
like patched
I
onto
saw
them rather
EMT
crudely.
there, but I didn't.
I
notice
saw
some
the
of
chick
other
that
people.
had EMT on her shirt, but I thought that's because she was wearing that. That's what she was. when
No,
she
but it
ended
was
up there.
like it looked like it had been crudely made and
Right.
put there, and like it was like a badge, and then like the cop's badge was right there,
Okay.
which
Now, I
is
wonder
not
if that's gonna be
normally.
a thing where they losing memories time to time or something.
No.
I don't think so. They
I think
seem
they
to remember.
No, not right now. I'm saying, but eventually they lose memory or something like that. I mean, because what other reason would you label yourself?
Well, for people who the newcomers.
Or just for normalcy. Like you wouldn't want to have you wouldn't want to say, okay, here's all these people in this town. There's 40 of us. We know who the cops are. They're not going to wear uniforms.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? No identification, nothing. That would be weird to an
All
outsider
you gotta
coming
do is
in.
wear the gun belt, and you can, have your cowboy hat and call your son Coral.
Harold Perrineau, right? That's
Yeah.
it. He's giving me straight up like he's modeling his character. Not like season 1, but like way further down the line, Rick Grimes.
Yeah, it was kind of grimy.
Like he's already he's got the rules. He knows what the rules are that keep everybody alive. And he's the one that's enforcing those rules or doing his best to make sure that people are listening. But inherently, people are stupid and do stupid things.
Right. I mean,
And horrible things happen.
because the
and
thing we saw in the first episode is that was in the trailer they made it seem like it was the new couple that
They did give
screwed
you
up
that.
and let their kid get eaten. Or
Yes,
whatever.
they did. They did give you that insinuation.
And the fact that it was somebody that had been there for a while, and I quite enjoyed the way that they handled that.
Well, okay. So you're watching the opening to the show is literally his name is Jim, right?
Yes.
Jim, with the bell, ding 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 ding, and he's ding ding ding,
Or no, his name's not Jim. His name is Boyd. I'm sorry. I thought you were talking about the guy in the RV.
Jim is the RV driver's
Yes,
name.
Boyd
Harold
is-
Perrineau's character's name is Boyd.
Yes.
Okay, he's the sheriff. He's ringing the bell. He's telling everybody to, get. I guess it really does suck, man. Like that. I'm now the more that we talk about this, that we saw that trailer and that it gave so much.
Yeah, because
No, seriously, that gave the whole premise of the show.
I'm
Because
glad I didn't see the
I'm
trailer.
actually like it's a really unique point of view now that we're sitting here
Right.
like and we watched that trailer and like
He's
we
watching Star
so ding
Wars
ding
or
ding ding
something.
he's ringing a bell. So I at this point like I already know what's happening.
Right.
I already know they need to be inside because of the trailer. Told us all of this.
Yes.
It gave us a few of the rules.
To
So
be
you good.
fair, though,
I like that. I want to go back and like watch it like he did.
We have to go back. That's our
Right.
first
We have
Lost
to be
reference.
fair, though. To be fair, I did get right, like, quick to the point with the we all need to go inside. Like, walking down the street and ringing a bell, it's not the most subtle thing.
Fair
I kind
enough.
of figured he was saying
Everybody needs
something's
to go
gonna
inside.
happen after dark. Okay, I'm with that.
Mhm.
I can live with those
What
things.
did you think at that point was going on?
I was thinking Walking Dead.
Zombies.
Okay.
Remember, I texted you guys. I said, yeah.
Say the thing about when they were driving there. When the
Oh, so
I know that technically
I
happens a little later,
I
but
watched the episode 1 somewhere in the area of 4 times now. Not on purpose, like all the way through, but I had to keep restarting. First time it scared the bejesus out of me because it was 1 a.m. What's up, Jay Wackers in the chat? Second time I watched it, I started it, and then I got busy doing something else, and then whatever. The point is, I watched it about 4 times, and the first couple of times I didn't notice that the family driving in on the highway that got or wound up being stuck in the town. They, in my head, watching it, I'm thinking it's a post-apocalyptic world,
And they're the only car on the
and they're
highway.
the only car on the road. Because I want, how you like
Right.
not fully consciously paying attention to stuff. But then when I watched it again, I finally noticed there's a lot of cars on the road. There's people driving both ways. There's no like abandoned vehicles on the road like you see in one of those shows or movies. It was just people going about their day. So,
Which begs the question: is it a wormhole? How do they get there?
So now it's
They
more or
turn the
less.
wrong combination
I
of
start thinking
streets?
about something horrible, which I hope this is. Well, I know it's not because they're actually killing people, but the village. I
Right.
start thinking about the village. Like, okay, well, this place is set apart from everything else, and they keeping people here. But wait a minute, these people don't want to be here. So now it's a whole nother dynamic that I'm thinking of. Because every time, like I say, every time I watch it, I catch another little detail, and I'm like, dang, these people don't want to be here. That's crazy. So now you telling me there's some kind of magic involved.
Well, that's the question. That's the question. I mean,
It gotta
is
be
it-
magic.
Well, supernatural magic, something
Yeah,
to
so
do.
There's something because there's these creatures, whatever they are,
Well-
they're taking the human form, but so there is sort of magic in this world.
Yeah, but that's
whether
what I'm
it's
saying. Their
supernatural or
magic,
not.
but is it their magic or is it just? I don't know. Like,
Oh, you're thinking this town caused whatever's happening there?
I don't know. It's like, okay, I can see like vampires because if we talking about vampires generally don't control things in the daytime. People are getting trapped here in the daytime.
Right.
By some
What
sort
is
of,
that? You know what I'm saying? Like,
like
what's
you
that
said,
about?
wormhole or loop or
Yeah.
what? Like,
Because
how do you drive straight down a road and not make a turn?
well, I'm saying even before that, something let them in
Jeremy's
that isn't
clearly
letting
tree.
everybody
It's
in.
the tree.
But
Jerry,
That's
you
the
think
point.
the tree decides whether
Everybody
somebody
sees
can
the
go
tree.
past? No, I'm saying
No,
they
nobody-
got to the tree. Even
Right.
something let them there. The tree's not just there all the time for everybody that drives down.
Exactly, the tree. But when you hit that tree, when you turn around,
Then you're in the
that's
loop.
it.
But so the tree only comes down for certain people
The
and then
tree's
goes
only-
away.
I don't know.
Well, that's what
Maybe
I'm.
You
it's
asking
just-
me rules?
No,
We've
no,
seen two episodes. I don't
Jeremy
know.
and
I'm just
Joel
discussing
have
it.
clearly never driven through rural. I hate saying that word. Rural Iowa. You will drive straight and drive through the same town 4 or 5,000 times in a row.
Right, but
when you're going through Iowa.
getting to the tree, like somehow you made a turn that's letting you get to the tree because they say everybody got to the tree, saw the crows.
least
I don't
two of
think.
them.
I don't think it has to get.
No,
I don't
three
think
of
it has
them
to
got
be
to
a
the tree.
turn. It just has to be like, you like it. Again,
I just want to point
there's
out
no
why they
rule.
debate
Like what I'm
this.
saying is like, you pull up to the tree. I'm doing this with my hands. Like, okay, so you pull up to the tree. Here's the tree.
Right,
All right. Oh, what's this tree here? Oh, it sucks. We can't.
crows.
Crows, weird shit. Let's leave.
around.
Turn around. You're already driving back that way. You're on the other side of the tree at that point.
I guess my thought then is the question that brings up is if that tree is just out there on a road
It's
that
not.
everybody can get to. So they already came through something then to get even to the tree checkpoint. And I'm wondering, like, could you just get out and walk past the tree and would that like let
Well,
you
that's what I
carry
think
on?
when he
just
took it wa-
randomly push
This is all just
freaking tree out of the road.
Well, another, I
kid
think.
did
Well, I
suggest
think we
that.
have that, and then we have the.
While we debating this, I just
what
wanna
if
point
somebody's
out-
looking at their phone and don't see the tree and crash into it, or don't see the tree and
right.
look up
Can
at
they
the last
then
second?
call for help at that point? You know
I'm
what I mean?
at the
Still?
tree by the
Or do you have to decide we're turning around? Like these are just questions 'cause
But
I'm curious
really-
about because someday we may get the answer.
I want
and
to
I
point
wanna have
out
thrown
that
it out there.
this show is made by the folks who made Lost, so a lot of this shit ain't gonna make sense. It probably never will. Joel is gonna tell us in about 10 years that it all made perfect sense. But right now, this tree that's sitting in the road,
As he has adopted anything and everything,
yeah,
and he's just gonna be like from Lost.
right, lost from the tree stop. So I don't know.
Hey, we'll see how it goes.
But listen,
I don't judge anything
From
until it's
lost we
completely
ride.
over.
That tree is ridiculous.
I'm just-
As far as best ever.
The tree is a ridiculous question. Joel is right. Is the tree just out there constantly? Can
No, that's
anybody
right,
stumble
okay.
upon this tree?
Right. And
but
like
what-
the way you're asking me the question is as if I should know the answer.
No. I didn't
and I'm
mean for it to
stupid
come
for
off
not
that way.
knowing the answer.
I was
So I was
literally
getting
just-
defensive. I'm sorry.
I get it. Maybe I
just
said it
don't-
that way.
I just don't. I don't know the rules to this place.
That's right.
That's what we're
and I
trying to
think-
figure out
and then
because I
we're-
want to have said it out loud if it ever comes true. You know what I mean? Like I want us to have said
What
it.
if the tree is sentient, and the tree just drops itself whenever it feels that somebody got a family with them or something?
Can they get back to the
Because
tree?
is everybody there with family?
That was my next question. Was if what happens? See, so when they passed the tree, they never saw the tree again.
Correct.
So that's
drove
what I'm
on that
saying.
road over
That's
and
what I'm
over
saying.
again.
Tree, turn around. You're on the other side of the tree. You're never going to see the tree again. You're stuck in the.
But how
in
are
the-
you stuck? But how are you on the other side of the tree if you're just driving that straight
But
line?
you're just thinking of it like physically like that.
Yeah.
It's-
I got a much
you're-
better
you gotta
question
you got to
for you.
expand your mind
Okay,
to
so
a
you could
paranormal
potentially
like.
jump or get there, hop over the tree, and walk in, and then maybe make it to that place.
Potentially.
You
But
don't
like
get-
I'm
you
saying,
don't
as
get
soon as
eight
the
on your
tree
way there.
leaves your like sight line from the
It's
horizon
gone.
or whatever, it's gone. And that's when
see.
you're stuck in a loop. Because like I said, they drove how long for hours and never got anywhere. And they never saw the tree again.
Also,
did they?
why would the GPS
Or did they see the tree again?
send them that way? No, they didn't.
Did they stop at the tree
No,
again
they
and
never
like do
stopped at
that
the
whole
tree
thing?
again.
That wasn't part of the loop after they
No.
ended up in the town. The tree was never part of the
They
loop.
never
again.
saw the tree
They never
again.
saw the tree again.
So and then when the old woman was explaining kind of what was going on, she was saying everybody sees the tree. So that's I say, well, once you see the tree, whatever supernatural force or magic or whatever the heck you want to call it, that sucked you in, you're in. And as far as we know now, there's no way out. Because I'm curious to see how long some of these people have been here.
I'm not.
We find out one later on in this. I think the second episode.
I'm
Yeah, but it's a
curious.
believable amount of time.
Yes.
I want I've been here for 75 years.
Yeah, kind of thing.
And I haven't aged a day. Or
Right.
haven't.
You want a Richard Alpert situation.
I want something crazy to happen to where.
I
like
thought that might be
I
coming
really-
with the old guy.
Right.
With the what's his name? The cop's dad. I thought maybe there was going to be something going in that direction with that. I
Hey,
wrote it
yo,
down, then I
hey,
went back and I'm like,
Epix.
nah.
Hey,
never
Epix,
mind.
y'all bogus, man. Why y'all do the dude like that, man? The little old Asian guy, man. That was my dude, man. He was cool. He knew chess, and he forgot other stuff. That's the life.
He's the Uncle Ben for that guy.
They killed this dude, man. So grimy.
That
like-
dude's
like-
gonna do something now because of that. He's
Well,
going
I
to
get it.
respond to that guy, you know,
But
etc.
what,
They
what
didn't
I
have
was,
to do
where
it.
my
They
brain
didn't
was
have to do
going for that character itself was just like, oh, cool. Like, I wonder if it's been like, we find out this dude's been here a really long time. And like, we'll get like, and he's
I put down he's maybe
starting
one
to
of them or
have
something.
like Alzheimer's. Okay, so and like again, when you die, you don't become one of these things.
Man, okay. That's
Maybe.
That's what I wanted to know.
Maybe we don't know.
That's exactly
Well,
what
because I
wanted
mean,
to
like those things are like the bodies are destroyed.
Right.
The
There
old
was
lady-
limbs and shit
The old
everywhere.
lady that ate the little girl and the mother,
Yeah.
or presumably
See,
somebody
and I
else
think
came
it's
and helped
it's
her.
yeah. I was
But
gonna
here's the
say
thing.
it's more than
The girl
one.
pointed
Once she
out-
opens the window,
the girl
they
pointed
come
out-
in.
You don't look like my grandmother.
Right.
Okay.
Why did she open the window then? They said they get a hold on
But
him.
here's the thing. That's my point. You don't look like my grandmother. The young man that was walking forward in the crowd on episode 2.
Yeah, that was the brother.
No, the young man that was walking forward in the crowd on the porch when they were trying to get in a safe house.
That was their brother.
Whose brother?
No, that was nobody.
No,
The girl.
I'm telling you, it was their brother Thomas.
Who?
If you paid close enough attention when they were talking, the mother, when he came back, when the mom was outside the RV, when the driver of the RV came over to her, he goes, he's still in there, and she goes, why don't we just go in there and get Thomas? And he goes, it's Ethan that's in there. So she was in a delusional state and was talking about presumably
Somebody
one
that
of their
probably
dead
dead.
kids.
Okay.
And then so that was, she looked at that kid like
gotta
she
see
knew
it.
him, that was the brother.
That's what I was saying.
That's my
I
guess.
remember
That's-
the part that he's talking about.
Now,
about
wait a
the,
minute,
like,
wait,
let's
let's
go
say
get
this.
Thomas and just leave.
Yeah.
Thomas is not what
There's
the
no
name.
Thomas. There's Ethan.
Right now,
So,
look,
but you're just guessing at
he's
that.
guessing.
Being
That's why I wanted to say.
they
Joel
didn't
is
point that out.
guessing.
The way that he said hi to her specifically,
Right.
and the
He
way
said
that,
her name.
and the way that she looked at him,
And
the-
she was
the older
looking like-
They
sister.
haven't said that.
No,
They haven't
Okay.
specifically
It's a
said
good guess.
that.
I'll
So
give
that's
you
a
that.
guess. And that's why I was getting at, because the little girl said, "You don't look like my grandmother." It wasn't like the old lady was bearing teeth or anything like that, or like blood running down her face. She just said, "You don't look like my
I know,
grandmother."
that was another thought I
my point
had.
to you is
Yeah.
this: what if that kid on the porch didn't look like her brother or nobody she knew, but it just vaguely felt familiar because the way she was looking like
I think
like
that
something
I
like
think
that. Like they
they're
not fully in their head, and they kind of got a vague.
they can
idea
see
of
your
what you
name. You
might
can
want.
see
You
your
know what I'm saying?
Okay,
like
that's an
these
interesting
things
thought.
can like get in your head a little bit. Like it's not her dead brother. It's this
But I think
thing.
at the very least, it's playing off of it.
right.
For the
Yeah,
fact
So
that she
like
has
so
one.
okay here wait all right sorry. So when these things like so this while they're running into the safe house or whatever, these things it's just now getting dark or whatever, right? Like it was just sunset when they were
As soon
running.
as it's dark, yes,
Right.
it's open season
Okay,
apparently
but,
for
so
anything.
but I'm saying like they got to the door just as like it's dark enough for these things to come out. So these things come around the corner and dude, it just picks up on your quickly picks up on your thoughts, your aura,
Vague,
your energy,
something
vague
there.
little. So maybe it does look like her brother to the fact where she goes.
Just a little bit. In
You
the
know what I
cap.
mean? Like she steps forward and looks like who. You know what I mean? Like
So doesn't what you're saying imply that they're
not
they're
fully-
changing depending on who's looking at them?
Right.
Yes.
That part, but not
the
specifically.
not to jump too far ahead, but when that chick leaves the door open and you see the two that are there, they
Yeah.
looked exactly the same as they had been earlier, and they
porch.
weren't anybody that
Right.
we had seen. I mean, they weren't anybody that we knew.
I
She
think-
didn't react to him like
right.
she
So
just took off running.
I'm just
We didn't
I'm
even
saying
have
that
time
it's
to
not
assess.
it's not a finite like I read all your thoughts, I know all of your memories. It's
But
not
you're saying
that.
they
It's just
definitely
like
are pulling
they're
it from-
It's one
definitely
of them things
picking
like
up
if you
on your
ran into Bokeem
Right.
Woodbine, you might think it was Dave Chappelle from down there. But then when you get closer, you be like, "Oh, that's Bokeem Woodbine." You
That's-
thought it was
that's
Dave
racist.
Chappelle. That's not racist.
I would
Dave
never
Chappelle.
say that. You know why?
I thought they
I
looked
don't know
alike.
who that is.
You know who
You know
Bokeem Woodbine is.
Bokeem Woodbine is, bro.
You would know the actor if you saw his face. You'd be like,
Okay.
"Oh, that guy."
Oh my God, he don't know who Bokeem Woodbine.
I mean, if
is.
you're talking about the guy from
2022.
what movie are we or what show are we talking about? Ted.
Ted, what the hell is
Was
Ted?
he in Ted? Wasn't there a show called Ted?
No, I have to show you Bokeem Woodbine so you can
I
go,
need
"Oh."
I need to move to Joel's Planet just for a weekend. It's got to be Ted.
He's been in a
the show
ton of things, and if you look at him and
Bokeem
say, "Oh, he was in
Woodbine
Lost for
is like
briefly,"
the
I wouldn't.
What was he in?
Oh my God, dude!
Well, no, I'm trying
Transformers.
to think of
He was
Okay.
He was in
several
Transformers?
television shows.
No, I
that
was
might
thinking
be a
of
little
different
racist.
guy.
I thought Tyrese was in Transformers, not Bokeem Woodbine.
No, I'm not thinking of Transformers. You're right.
Got
It's not-
him.
He did. Oh, here, look at
He
look
did
at
a racism.
wait,
Everybody, he did a racism.
wait. No, I wasn't thinking. I was thinking of Bokeem Woodbine.
Welcome to the
I
new
was
How to
thinking
Watch
about
TV with Joel and Dre.
Look what the Google,
But see what
the
I'm
Google
saying?
machine.
That was it.
The Google machine puts Dave Chappelle. and
That's
Bokeem
what I'm saying.
Woodbine.
Because
Okay.
like if you
Wow.
saw,
Well, see, so okay, so listen, so is it fair? Okay, I don't want to go into a whole another podcast here, but like to think somebody looks like someone else.
no, there's nothing wrong with that.
Right.
I think they look alike.
These two men look alike.
Yeah.
Yes,
but I'm still calling
these
it a
two-
racism.
But also, that's
you
not
can call it
something-
whatever.
exactly.
No, I didn't make that mistake.
That's a default, though. I think that's genuinely like a societal default that here I would not be, and I'm not complaining at all because who gives a shit if I can say this publicly or not. But like, we're not allowed. We wouldn't be allowed to say that. Oh, I saw Ron come in and I thought, oh, it's Dre. You know what I mean?
No,
Like,
what you would be able to say is that you went over Ron's house and you felt like you was at Planet of the Apes. That's specifically pointed at
yeah, this
Joe
is
Rogan. That's it. That's not for my fellas. This is for Joe Rogan. You wouldn't be able to say that. We think other people look like other people. I think
I know, but commonly it's as soon as if I were to ever confuse two people of a different race,
Oh, yeah.
the first perception, your
But that's
first
low
thought
hanging
is
fruit. That's why I had to do it to him.
So here,
but let's
I
not
know,
go off into that.
I know.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I have a quick story. Okay, my daughter, when she was like 15 or 16, she got asked to one of the dances
He thought
by
the kid was Bokeem Wood.
by a black kid. So the kid shows up to take my daughter to the dance, and he gets these two black kids get out, and bro, I'm telling you, genuinely facial features, same hair, same skin tone, they look like brothers. And I
think
said
we all know where this
I
is
did a
going.
racism. And the one kid looks at me like I have my head on backwards, and he's like, "We're not brothers." But if I'm like, "All right, let me take a picture of you two, and show it to you, guys look like you will be related. It's not like you're light
Hey
skinned and you're
guys,
dark
thanks
skinned."
for
and I
watching
called
How
you
to Watch
brothers.
TV. We're canceled
just
now,
got
and
canceled.
thanks so much for
Hey,
tuning
wait a
in.
minute. I gotta point this out
Go on.
for my old school fellas out there. There's a certain Mix-a-Lot song called I think it's called My Hoopty or whatever, and they was talking about getting pulled over, and the police took his driver's license, and he was like, "Damn, they all look like Tyson." I don't know why that reminds me of that all the time. It's like, but you know what? Listen,
Specific people also
Family
happen
Guy.
to resemble other specific people.
People
Right.
look like people, and some people do look like brother and sister, and some people look like
Yeah.
brothers. And me and my wife have been told on several occasions we resemble each other. So it happens. People look like people. It's not racist, but I have to call it
I know.
racism for the joke. That's the whole point.
Right, fine. I'll
But
give you that.
I
Fine,
just wanted to
perpetuate
say-
the stereotype,
But
and
yeah,
that's
we
funny.
needed it for the joke. But I wanted to say this about that related to the show From. The reason why that's so dope is because we're still talking about the vagueness and the similarity in faces and stuff. So that still leaves the door open for these things.
Like they could be true or not.
Dead
Yeah.
friends, maybe being ex-relatives.
I don't think that
maybe
they're-
being spirits, maybe being.
I don't think they're
vampires.
shapeshifters. I don't
I think that's
Well, that
exactly
old
what
lady
they are.
face shifted.
I think that's exactly what it is.
I didn't
think
say
these
face
things,
shift.
like,
I
Okay,
don't
so
think-
here,
she
I think
showed
they
the
are
truth.
the people that they.
we got 2 more
No,
episodes.
I don't agree with that.
currently live right now, right?
I think
3
they're
and 4
pulling
up.
that image from you when they see you.
3 and 4.
But what I
up.
mean is, I don't think they then change again.
That's
Yes, I think
what
they
that's
do.
what I was about to ask. 3 or 4 are up right now, right?
Yes, 3 and 4 are up.
So we go watch
We'll
3
do
and 4.
two
So
two more for
but-
next week.
But before that discussion, if we'll go into it consciously looking for those same creatures from the first 2
Sure.
episodes.
Yeah, of course.
If they're different, we have to assume that they're changing
Right.
because
Well,
if
or
you
that
don't-
we
you
didn't,
think
or
they
that we
pick
didn't
a-
see the same ones.
Yeah, but I mean, how?
Because we did see the same ones twice. That's what I'm saying. On the
In
porch,
that one episode,
we saw some, and then later at that other building, we saw those 2 of those. Not the one that was talking to him, but there was
and
a
to
dude
be
with
fair,
glasses
they was
and
coming
a
for
kinda-
different people.
And he
They were
and
coming
at that
from
thing, a
different
dude
She looked-
shot it. He shot it, and it had a it didn't like go through it like smoke. It wasn't like a ghost. It had a physical
Right.
reaction to being shot.
Just didn't acknowledge
It didn't.
it.
Well, yes,
Yeah,
it
but
didn't
they were
acknowledge the
chasing-
pain or anything
also
like that.
they were
but
chasing
it
a
did
different
physically
group of people.
react to it.
And they also don't seem to run. They just seem to walk.
That was
no,
a
they
really
they
good
pointed
point.
that out
They
specifically.
pointed that
They
out,
do
and
not
that
run.
was it. Like made my hair stand up when they
Because they know you got
when
nowhere
that
to go.
girl described that.
No, that was the Asian cop. He said, "You
That's
ever
what it
notice they never run?"
It's, again, one of those times when I was doing
And he was
something and
talking
listening,
about how
and
it's
like I
like
said, that it made my hair stand up.
When his
That-
granddad was playing chess with him,
yeah, man.
Yeah.
he would move his last piece around the board frantically trying to get away, and eventually his granddad would trap him
Right.
and get the checkmate. And he was saying that they never run. They don't chase us. They don't, they don't even seem to be in a rush
Right.
because they know we have nowhere else to go.
Right.
Yeah, and eventually we're
And
going to
that-
run out of
they're
places.
gonna
We're
run
gonna
out
make a
of stuff.
mistake or do something
That was
stupid.
dope. That was dope.
Like I said, bone chilling conversation.
Yeah.
That was, hey, look, that was as far as 2 episodes of television can go,
It's pretty good.
to open up a new show, that was about right up there at the top. I got to be honest with you. I haven't seen a lot of shows that started off as fast as this, but also didn't give away anything.
Okay, so I have a question
That's
about,
hard to do.
about the town. So when Boyd went over to see his son,
Pause.
Yes.
Anybody get a name on the town?
no,
Lost.
I didn't.
Okay.
When Boyd
Dharmaville.
when Boyd went over to see his son, and then they kept talking about the house that was kind of like a college, like a fraternity colony house or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Did you get the impression that there was some division there? Like my question was the division within the family, like Boyd and his son, or do you think there's some division within the town, like they have different philosophies?
Well, I think that, yes, because I think there was a point where he was looking at them, like he was watching them sit on the porch, and they were like, "Dad," they were like having fun, and he was like making sure, like
specifically pointed out, we have an agreement. You don't come over here. She said that to him. She was digging in the garden, and he came to see his son after the little girl died, and she specifically said, "We have an agreement, Sheriff.
Okay, so there you go.
You don't come here."
Right.
But
so it's a difference in philosophy in the town.
Right. Okay, I didn't even catch that.
This is my one knock to the show. Please, do away with that.
What?
Do away with that. Please stop. Show creators, the Russos, the Lost People, whoever you...
Stop with what?
Because that's so stupid. Let me explain something to you. Joe, if I decided I don't like Joe and I want to punch him in his face, and Jeremy decided I don't like that Dre doesn't like Joe, he wants to punch him in the face, and for that I want to protect Joe and punch Dre in the face. At the point in which we are now in a life or death situation, I don't give a fuck about what I did want to do to you beforehand. We have unearthly creatures stalking and hunting us. We will all stay together.
But you assume that it's a beef based on personal issues as opposed to their philosophies on how
I don't even care if it's listen to what I'm saying. I don't care about your philosophy at that point.
How they're trying to get
My
out.
My greatest chance at survival is for us to be together. I don't want to separate. My human instinct
again
would not allow me to say...
You can say that. And that might be your philosophy, but somebody else might not. Joel might not think the same way.
And it wouldn't matter.
It might be we're better off spread out. We're better off
covering our bases. We're constantly looking for ways out or things like that.
No.
Well, exactly. See, we would disagree, and then we'd go do that, and then we'd be a town divided.
Because guess what? I would go over there with you, and I'd be like, all right, we separated, but I'm going to be here.
How are we separated?
Because I want to be alive. There's no scenario in which...
It doesn't end up
unearthly night stalkers are coming through windows and ripping faces off. Where I'm gonna be
That's
like,
also a title.
our differences in philosophy is going to allow me to argue with this man. Whatever you say, I'm gonna be like, I agree with that.
You know what though? I can
wait,
guys. I can almost say that in that situation, like I said, you might have the way you think. You know how you would handle it.
But then
sitting right
we're
here
not in
saying
charge
again. However, I think that those feelings and those thoughts also get heightened in a situation to be so, then you're going to stand your ground even more because of what you're doing, and so that person is going to do the same thing. And I'm just saying agree to disagree here because just right now we're not even in this situation, and you're already disagreeing on it.
I would be considering.
So I'm thinking
philosophies
I think
on how to get out and all that.
Do I think that eventually down the road are they going to have to do what you're saying?
They're going to have to join together.
Sure.
Listen, there's a show called Superman and Lois.
Who's Lois?
Lois, right?
Lois.
Yeah, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I said Lois, right? He making fun of my black lips. I just had to go way out there for that one. But listen. But in Superman and Lois. There's somebody said, we got a new person in the chat today. That's what's up. On Superman and Lois, there's a character called John Henry. We don't even want to talk about the history of that name of that character, but the point is, he has a daughter who's a teenager, and the lazy writers decided to write in teenage angst into her character, even though she's from an alternate reality where Kryptonians have killed everybody on the planet, including her mother. She's far away from home, and this idiot kid is running around talking about her friends' alternate reality versions, act like they don't even know her. Look here, little dumb bitch. You in a whole different universe. I don't care that you 15, 16 years old. You're not that dumb where your mind doesn't work, where you don't know that this is an alternate reality. You came here knowing you were going to an alternate reality. My point to you is this. When people write lazy stuff like that just to add a little tension in a show that doesn't need it, I don't like it. So
But we don't know what their reasons are.
You do know. He got beef with his son for whatever it is.
But that's not going to divide the whole town.
No, but I'm not talking about the divide of the whole town.
First of all, that guy wasn't in charge. The kid wasn't in charge of shit when he went back to Colony House.
Yeah, but
that lady seemed to be in charge. We don't know what her issues are with the other guy. With Harold Parent or with
Boyd, the sheriff.
Once we know what their motivations are, then fair enough. But I think it might be too early to judge.
What's Sonny Rothmuller say in Low Down Dirty Shame? I'm simply trying to say that in a situation where it's life or death, I refuse to keep watching. But not everybody
pulls together.
Hold on, hear me out. To me, it's lazy. You know how you see stuff and you think it's lazy writing?
Right.
I know that in order to write a narrative, people like to add tension. And
no, I totally understand where you're coming from. I just if their beef is lame, I agree with you 100%. It's gonna be lame. We'll see.
It's gonna be lame. It's gonna be something stupid like, you let my mama down the first night we was here. Now I hate you. It's like, shut up, bitch.
Now, if it's that, that's dumb. But I think if it's something to do with the philosophy and how to deal with what we're dealing with,
and then maybe one has more success than the other in terms of dealing with them.
Shifting vampires stay together. Stay in the same house. Fortify the house.
To be fair, I'm like...
Aren't you then just bringing all of them there to the one house?
It don't matter.
It doesn't make any difference as long as you got the rocks. So what do you think about the rocks?
That's
the hieroglyphics?
Yeah, what's up with that?
To me, that would...
figured that out? That's what I want to know.
Right. To me, that insinuates...
call them talismans?
The talismans, yeah.
Call them talismans.
Okay. Yep. To me, that insinuates it's something... long bred in this town.
Runes are good too.
Like long built into the fabric of the community of this town.
It's the lost colony of Roanoke.
See, that also came to my mind as I was watching it. Yeah, I did, no joke.
That's crazy.
But the Roanoke was like one of the first words that came to mind when I saw that thing. I don't know why, because that's the word where they Croatoan was written on the tree.
Croatoan.
Yeah.
Okay.
I thought. But if you read further into that, they said all those people just moved inland.
Yeah, they moved inland,
to
but
where
back
the food
then they
was.
didn't have Facebook. And they was like,
they
the
couldn't
whole
Google
colony disappeared.
Everybody
you know it took you 6 months to get back over here, right? They left on the trip that took half a year. Of course they moved. They was hungry, bitch.
Right, they had to move where the food was. Right.
So stupid.
But anyway, yeah, so like those, yes, I'm very curious. And I think the storytellers here will do a good job of slowly unfolding this, hopefully.
Oh, I hope so.
Right.
I hope this thing got legs because this is a dope ass start. This is one
it's
of the
not
best
a bad
start
start.
show.
I mean, did you see it coming when that lady stabbed through his face?
What was that?
So she's hearing voices. Clearly, she's listening.
Hearing them.
Yeah, that's what I mean. She's listening to it.
She's hearing them.
But she said that the voices told her to make it look like it was the monster because it was the only thing that was going to save us. So is it an opposing force to?
Did I not hear? I didn't hear the part about saving us.
Yeah, that's what she said.
I heard her saying
this is what. So this is some of the benefit of listening and not watching sometimes. Right. Because I was fully listening to exactly what the words were saying. So sometimes I couldn't see the screen, but I heard that conversation, and she was So.
But so
answer my questions, Joel.
But part of that was her leaving the door open.
We got 10 years.
As well as mutilating the body. But the way she did it and when she did it, when she was pulling the thing out, when she was pulling the thing out, she was talking to someone.
She was still talking to somebody. She was like, with all of it.
Engaged in a conversation.
Okay, right.
Is that enough? You know, that kind of thing. As opposed to, oh, I hear them yelling something from outside. Like, I think she might be crazy, or she might be half possessed or something.
Is it just a whole? Maybe it's not possession. Maybe she is just crazy, mentally ill in this situation.
Right. And just throw another.
Just completely unfolding.
But according to Dre, that would be lazy writing.
No. Actually, I don't think so.
That wouldn't be lazy writing. That would be a nice little curveball. But the only reason why I lend credence
there's
to the
nothing
fact
supernatural about what she's doing
being talked to is because the way they ended the second episode with the little boy seeing the little boy outside.
But the fact that he saw somebody out during the daytime, that changes everything.
Yeah, to me, that's what I'm saying.
Right. It was one of the first things we said to each other when he walked in.
Maybe the rules.
He said something about the little boy outside. I was like,
dealing with vampires.
Well, no, I
we
think
already
that
leaned heavy on a vampire thing.
I think that's
This
what.
might not be what we do.
No, I
No.
don't think it's actually a
Right.
vampire. However, they specifically said you have to invite them in. What
And
does
that's
that
very
sound
heavy
like?
Vampire.
That sounds like vampire talk.
Or,
Okay, no.
Jehovah's
But
Witnesses.
a vampire,
Maybe it's a combo.
a vampire.
Evangelical vampires.
To the if you go back down to like the tropes or the cartoonish rules to a vampire, I can open the door.
But
And
I
I
have to
then-
invite
but
it
I have to
past-
say, do you want to come in or
Right.
please come in? I have to say those words to
Right.
a vampire. If you leave the door open,
This one
with
is,
these
but
things,
they're basically the difference there being the assumption that if the door's open, we're allowed in.
because all the little girl did was open the window.
Because they could clearly break
So that
the
she was like,
window.
"Why don't you let me in?" And the little girl reached and opened the window, and that so
Wait
that
a
was.
minute.
But she
that
could have
was-
broken the window if she wanted to.
Yeah, and that's the other part.
What? Why are you getting all stressed out?
Because
He
The show
doesn't-
makes me sweat.
Do you have to not like the show
have
because it
the-
seems like
all
you're
right, do you know what
struggling.
kind of tensile strength you have to have, upper body strength, or like strengthen your fingers to like rip flesh? You got to be pretty strong. I'm assuming they can raise a window.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So that's
So
part
what
of
are
their
the
rules.
That's where.
They're not capable of coming in outside of the invite. This was
Well,
stated, not just shown,
But
this was
also,
stated.
the other thing being they had one of the talismans hanging. That
Also,
has to
the
be
talisman
included
on
in it.
the talisman on the window or the door
At least
and
those two
then
things so far.
don't open up. But the problem was,
Oh, block the windows as well.
well, so they can't see it. But they said it's easier for them to manipulate you.
That's
if you
the thing.
see
I
them.
think that there's something to do with a little bit of not mind control necessarily, but like
That's where
they get wooed by it, like a siren.
bro. That's where that's kind of part of the thing that I'm saying, is they like catch you and they briefly see your thoughts and your feelings, and they can kind of latch onto you. And
So
pull
all
you.
of them are individual ones, because my thought was when I was mentioning the brother, I was thinking an individual one looked like an individual that somebody knew.
I'm saying
But then I
only
think
that's
they
only what
stay
you
that
see.
way. So you think that one looked different to other people?
Sure.
What?
I'm saying it's capable of doing so, because otherwise, then what did he look like? What did that thing look like
Prior.
before she got there?
That's what my issue with it.
Why is it an issue?
Trying to figure that out. Trying to figure out then. Okay, so is there a cycle? Do they rotate? Because
I'm saying
there was one in a wedding dress. If we
I'm-
never see one
I'm
with a
saying-
veil on
okay,
again,
so,
then we know.
Okay, so
Said they
maybe
rotate.
here. I'm trying to flesh this out. I'm trying to
No,
think about it.
we're just
So
spitballing.
if they,
we don't
yeah,
know what
totally.
we're talking about
if
here.
if they see you, they pull your thoughts, take form of something you might recognize, or I mean, not totally recognize. Like the little girl said, you don't look like my grandma, but maybe she kind of looked like grandma.
Right.
You know, just like a little
She
bit,
looked like
like through the window.
Maybe she
you know,
sounded like her.
right. So they pull like little details like that from you, and
Maybe the way she spoke to her.
And so, if you still alive in the town, they stay that way.
If you're still alive in the town, they stay that way. So that grandma, in theory, we should never see again.
In
Right.
theory.
So if we see the grandma again,
Then we
In
know.
theory.
That's a way to tell for sure.
Okay.
In
So it's a
theory.
good call.
episode 3, we looking for grandma, and we also looking for the people that came through the back door and killed my favorite character, you bastards.
Well, that was the two like children-looking ones that kind of, and again, that was one of the ones where I was like peeking out from behind the car, trying to watch it from across the shop, so I didn't get a good look at those two that came in the door. Were they children? And you said those two, so
look
specific
kinda-
two were with the brother on the porch.
Yes, those two were with the brother. I saw them in the background because one of them kind of looked old timey. Like the lady
And
looked
this
like
is
a
all
like an old timey
old-timey
diner.
Air
And
Force.
this is
Oh
all-
yeah.
This
Wait
is
a
all,
minute.
This is all night one.
Wait a minute.
This is all the first night.
The kid at the end, he looked old timey.
The kid at the end sort of looked like the kid in the window, didn't he?
The
I mean, the kid in the bed.
He looked like the kid in the bed, and I was like, is he reflecting himself to him? But then look at the outfit, look at the clothes.
Right.
He looked a little.
That's what I'm
old-timey.
thinking. I'm
What
thinking
if
there might
these
be a
people
time
been trapped
component.
there forever, too,
Right. I'm
and
thinking
they just eventually became these
kind of the whispers from Lost.
So, do you
He said,
become
"When they-
one?
Hey, we're gonna
Eventually.
we're
They're
gonna
trapped
get a, we're
until
gonna get
they-
a lost jar right here. We're gonna get it. We're gonna call it the lost and the wire jar.
I mean, if you have the
Wait, no,
actors
wait,
and the
because
creator, some of the people
This
involved.
joke that you're about to make, I swear to God, I've made this joke already.
Oh yeah, me and Joel are
On
gonna
an old
start a
podcast.
fund. Every time I mention The Wire, or every time he mentioned Lost, we're just gonna drop some money in the little jar.
Hey, look at it as high praise. The fact that I would mention Lost in the same discussion as whatever we're talking about. Whatever I'm talking about in the context of comparing you to Lost, it's probably meant as a good thing.
Oh shoot, Joel.
Yes.
Didn't the couples in our marriage class look like they were coming from Michelle Velez? Obviously not from me.
She doesn't want me to talk about this, I assure you,
She
Michelle.
just asked. She definitely asked.
Not with a beer in
Look
you.
forward to our forthcoming podcast, maybe, with me, Michelle, Jeremy, and Jenna. We're going to talk about regular stuff. Maybe it'll be a revival of, I don't know, something in the same vein as the Joel Henderson show, but maybe
called
not
White
so
dudes and
vainly
their
named.
wives.
Right.
Thank you. I didn't want to be the one to make that joke. I wanted to make it. It was right there. I was like, is this appropriate? Should I keep going to the white guy thing? Nah, leave it alone. Listen, hey, so no, I like the show. I think you like it. I think Jeremy likes it. I think we all thoroughly enjoyed this show.
What do you think about them liking to hunt and play?
I think that's a little creepy, and
Again,
I think
bone-chilling conversation. Do we
I don't
have
think
to
that's
bring it back
necessarily
up?
true. I also don't think it's true.
What
They
do you
don't run
think?
anywhere. They just walk.
Give me any thoughts you have going forward.
Well,
like,
I
where
think
do
when they're
this-
let into a place and turn into that form or whatever it was that she turned into, they move like blink of an
fluidly.
eye.
I don't think it's going to be.
I think a lot of people in the town are lying.
To what end?
Well, I think.
Do you think anybody there knows how to get out, or is keeping them there willfully?
I don't know that. I don't think that. I haven't got that impression, but I haven't met.
You like somebody
anybody in the
working
town.
for the other
I'm
side?
saying, yeah, like somebody that's in there that's keeping
But
them
I
there.
know
Like,
for a fact
what about
that
that guy drawing? Like,
He
he
was
seemed
super
like
weird.
he was involved in some way because of
Here's
some
the
of the
thing.
drawings.
The
were
guy
so
drawing,
much. So that
the guy
guy,
drawing. That's what I was.
he
happy.
seemed.
He's the little kid from the RV. Mark my words.
You mean like time travel?
Not time travel. It's a loop. It's a closed circle. Once you in there, you in there.
How can there be two of him? Then?
Yeah, I was
Don't
gonna
matter.
say, once you're in
It's
there,
the
you're in
people
there.
who made Lost. It don't all have to make sense. Joel have explained it to us
But
in 10 years.
most of Lost does make sense.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, man. I have to agree with him there. It does fit together well. And it's
listen. Right now, I'm telling you
very, very.
that old guy in that room drawing,
As annoyed as it as I get.
he's the little boy from the RV. Go listen to the little boy again when he had that dream and he dreamt of being that old man sitting in that room with those
Wait.
drawings.
Wait.
Well, it definitely tied in there somehow. He saw something from that guy. But
So okay, I missed.
I'd be
this
cool
part
with
then.
that. I'd be cool with it being something like that. Those are some of my favorite twists.
But you know what? If they
things.
will, if they do that, there will be some explanation as to why they can both be in the same space.
Yeah, that
Potentially.
rule went out the window way back at Time Cop. Nobody does that anymore.
No,
No, I'm serious. No, I'm just.
No,
being
I
real.
know what
Like,
you
As
mean.
far as
But
storytelling,
everyone
people
has
left that
their own
alone.
mythology and
Right.
can pick and
No, I
choose
know,
whether
but
they
nobody.
do it or not.
But in the time paradox like world of writing,
How
the
did-
last time we addressed that being in the same place at the same time.
no,
thing
but that was exactly
like-
the same place if you touched each other. I was
Right.
just talking about like this. They seem to be in some sort of void or black
like
hole.
outside of normal space
So,
and time.
okay. There's a question. Does time move normally here? Do people age? Do people get older and die?
Well, they
those are
definitely die.
questions
I don't know if they get
no, no.
older and die.
Age, die from
They
old
got
age.
real good.
I don't know. It depends how long they've. Who knows?
That's
how
why
long
I'm
they've
curious
been
to
there
know
and-
how.
Like if we
Oh,
find
dude.
out that kid, if we find out that guy is the kid and he's been there for X number of years,
You know what
But then
tells
that
me-
throws all of the time stuff. Because I was thinking, why is nobody asking, "Hey, what's going on in the real world? We haven't been out there in a while.
Well,
Who's the president?
I-
Who's the this or
well,
that? Like any number of questions.
You know
could
why?
ask.
Because in the
Yeah.
situation they're in, none of that shit matters.
Yeah.
It does. Why even ask those questions? Who cares?
Yeah, it's like why have a conflict?
I would
What
have
other?
questions.
What we're trying to stay alive with these supernatural, like shape shifting,
It's like
whatever
the
they
point I
may
was
be.
trying to make earlier.
That like why would I care who the president is? Like it's like. It'd be like me being in that situation, being like, "What new video games are out?"
You would
Right,
ask.
did they-
you
No,
would
I-
definitely ask.
Yeah.
I can't,
Bro,
I
I'm
don't-
gonna be honest. I would ask. And somebody showed up, and we've been in,
You play anything good lately? Can you tell me
and
about
we've
it
been
in
in there
detail?
for like 25 years, and somebody showed up, and they look kind of youngish. I'll be like, bro,
What do
are they
video
still
games look
making
like?
Halo? What does it look like?
Like, yeah, you are the Master Chief.
Right, like-
you put your ring around your head and you go to sleep and you become
you chief now.
the game that you're playing. It's all taking place deep in your dream state.
Yeah, I would definitely ask that
Deep
question.
in my dream state.
So do you think there's going to be any sort of like a connection between these people?
No.
Like prior to them
I
being
think
there? Like any common
some sort of
thread that runs
pattern.
through them?
I think that the sheriff is gonna have a troubled past. Something he did to offend his son. He's gonna have to make amends for it right before one or both of them die.
Do you think anybody did something to deserve to be there, to be brought there? Do you think they were brought, or do you think they stumbled upon it?
I pray that this doesn't become one of those preachy shows about some kind of what is it? What is that thing called in between heaven and hell? Purgatory. Another. I don't want.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd like that
Don't
either.
do
I
that.
wouldn't want a
Don't do
purgatory.
that. I will stomp you out. Not
There was
you.
a lot of talk of that was what Lost was when
Right.
the early in
Yeah.
Lost saying, "Oh, they're in purgatory. They're all dead."
Yeah, people didn't understand it if they thought that was what happened.
Oh boy.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be that. I don't know. I feel like it exists in the real world, but it has to be separate in a way, because once you get stuck in it, Jeremy mentioned earlier today, it's like Vivarium. You know, like once you're in there, you can't get your way out. You have to know the exit.
But there's still okay.
That's a
So
very
like I'm trying to
Lost
think of the
thing,
time,
too.
like the
You
time
gotta
travel
find
thing,
the-
like and does time? There's a day-night cycle.
They haven't
There
did
is.
anything.
So
related
days
to
move
time
forward.
yet, though.
Correct.
In the first 2 episodes, they haven't did anything that would imply that time is a factor here.
They haven't answered
No.
this
The
question.
only thing that I think, the only reason why I think that time might be a factor is, like I said, the connection between the little boy and the old guy, and drawing those kid-like pictures. And the reason why I think that is, I think his sister, mother, and father are all gonna die in the next couple episodes.
So
He said
wait.
he saw the Lake of Tears.
Wait.
The guy with the peaches was drawing.
So the guy with the peaches, and the kid were drawing the same pictures.
No, the kid wasn't drawing anything. He just
Oh.
saw the pictures in his dream.
He had a dream and he saw the pictures the guy was drawing.
Right.
Got ya. Again, one of those things where like, that's the bad part of not watching it.
Well, yeah, let's move forward.
But then why did he see one during the day? That was the last question.
that's
I had
Did
on
he
there.
actually see one?
So what do you? What would you be
What if
implying
his
there? Then
ass is
he's
just
crazy.
Crazy, just like the other girl.
I think that
Well,
would.
what
I think
if-
it would be cheap.
What if that kid is just another person that lives in that village? Because that other girl that was like right by the entrance with the little sundress, she looked a little old timey too, and she was.
The next episode starts with that kid like he just ran and he fell in like a white dust pit and it just
Right.
made all of his clothes white and he just standing there looking all creepy, but it's just like a normal kid and he just like shakes his
And he
clothes
probably
off.
just out there happy to see another kid so he can have somebody to play with.
You want to go on the swing
It
set?
could be clever misdirection. That's why I'm looking forward to the next 2 episodes. But if it's not, if this kid is actually like insane, or the worst scenario from this is that they are not limited. There we go, halfway there. Get my check.
There's no checks.
No, I'm talking to Epix. I know Epix got at least $30. The yeah, it's just like 2 subscriptions to them. But if they are not limited by the nighttime, then that presents a whole nother scenario that's extremely frightening, because that means they wait in the nighttime just to fuck with you.
Well,
They could,
yeah.
you know what I'm saying? If they're still there in the daytime
You
and they
said
can,
Walking
Oh
Dead.
my goodness.
you know what I'm saying? That would make it even
like
scarier.
Dude, if they just
they just
they can come out in the
They could
daytime,
come
but
down
they're
in
just
the
choosing
daytime,
not
but they
to.
was chilling because they ate so much last night. and
Or
just
they're
messing
evolving.
that
potentially.
anything. Yeah, that's what I'm
So
saying.
But
okay,
the
so does
idea
it,
that
This show
that
can go a million
You said The
different
Walking Dead.
do they
and
eat? Are they eating them?
This is The Walking Dead, but only at night.
It
You know
looked,
what I mean?
to
Like
me, it didn't look like they were
get the
eating
days
them.
off.
I thought they was
They
eating them.
ate their whole entire chest cavity out and left the ribs splayed open. up,
So they
sticking up
ate
out
all
of
their
it.
organs.
Yeah, like they cleaned them out.
So I didn't hear. I
So,
didn't. No.
and-
Well, I
and-
mean,
and-
potentially the
But
organs
here
and
li-
shit could be spread all over. That they could just be playing.
That's what I was about to say.
I don't know if
Here
they're
lies the part
eating.
that's really scary about that, because when the lady, if she's
Well, they
being
said
honest,
that
I don't think
she-
she's being truthful. I think she's a liar.
I think what she did is the same thing that what
I'm
the
trusting.
girl in
Okay.
the hospital did. I think she skinned that dude. I was hoping they weren't going to show it, and they didn't yet.
Mm-hmm.
But when she said all of it, and
Yeah.
then they were talking later, and the lady said, "Oh, they skinned my sister right in front of
right,
me,"
she
and I
started
heard her
skinning
still
her.
screaming when by the time I got
Right.
back to wherever
they
I made
was
it to.
taking their time,
were taking their time
skinning her
skinning
alive
her.
and torturing her. That's not eating them. You know what I'm saying? That's not the
No,
same thing.
that's what I'm saying. I don't like.
But the
to
way
me,
the cavities were so
Yes,
cleaned out,
I
it
think
looked
that's
like work
just-
was done.
bro, I think it's like, I'm gonna pull your insides out while you're still alive.
And if
like,
you
Maybe,
go
we're
but
gonna-
they did some stuff well after death there. is
Oh
what
yeah,
I'm
no, they
saying.
were
well
cut-
after death.
Like I'm saying, they
They're
were
still
cutting her
caving it
leg.
out.
Oh god.
And shout out to Epix for not being scared to go a little bit gory with the effects on the body, but I think that you need to add more blood, because if you've ever been around like,
But we don't know. Maybe they're off of blood. Maybe they like blood. You know, maybe
they
they're
drink the blood.
taking
So,
some
yeah,
of the
'cause
blood.
I'm saying it's
Vampire,
not.
hello.
For that first scene when they killed the little girl and the mom, there wasn't enough blood. There wasn't nearly enough blood in that.
It could have been after they cleaned up. No, it wasn't because the bodies
they
were
was
still there.
Bringing
So
them
yeah,
out.
that might be a
Should've been
point.
Way more blood. there.
Dumbass drunk.
But then the other dude, but then the old guy, he was covered in blood, and he wasn't that tore up. They tore up a little bit, right? But they left a lot more on his body than they left on
See,
the
I don't
mother.
think they're eating them. I think they're just
That's what
torturing
it's
them
something
and playing
weird about it,
with them and
because the
killing
mother
you.
was cleaned out completely, like legs, all that stuff. Then the little girl, it was just basically this in the
Right.
torso. But then the old guy, it was some stuff up here.
And it was all the way down
And then,
him.
right,
Yeah,
and
like
then
down
it
his
was
legs.
stuff was still there, and it was like, what are they? And then the lady that was laying in the hall out front of the door, she didn't look like it was too much wrong with her.
Okay.
So what are they doing? Are these things? I don't know, man. Let's go to the
Do they?
next show. I gotta drive
I'm
home by
curious.
myself.
I'm curious to know if anybody there has managed to kill one of these things.
I'm waiting for that because I'm offensive
Okay.
minded. I want somebody to try to kill them.
Well, he shot one, like I
No,
said.
I mean an actual effective way of trying to come up. Like every day, I spend my entire day setting up traps. So when they eventually come to the door, they're gonna do it every night. Set up a trap, Home Alone style. See what works. Chop the head off. Pour holy water on them. Throw garlic at their eyeball. Something. I need you to be like actively. We need that character.
Actually, I kind of like that
to
idea.
come
right
out
there.
every single episode to try to
Because
find
you
a
have
new
all
way to kill
day.
them.
You have
Yeah,
all
ain't got
the
nothing
whole
else to do. It's
sunlight
not like
from
you gotta
sun
go
up
to
to
work.
sundown. There's no jobs. There's no money.
Well, they have to provide for themselves food wise and everything. I was thinking about that.
So-
There's no supermarkets. They would have to create all the stuff they eat.
Well,
they
I
have to
think-
grow it, and it's a farming community, and that way it will be like The Walking Dead. They're just still using buildings. You know what I mean? It's
Well,
not
they
like
see-
somebody's dropping off
they made
supplies
it
and
where
driving
old girl
on.
was,
Right.
They made it where old girl was gardening.
Well, at least we haven't seen an airdrop yet.
They
Right.
made it where old girl was gardening at the commune or whatever it is. But yeah, they also implied that they're rationing off supplies that they have left, like with the peaches and stuff.
Right.
But if they still have canned food left,
It can't have been
they
hundreds
couldn't
of
have been-
years,
right? Exactly.
unless-
They couldn't have been here this long.
unless a truck came in one time, like a semi truck
Every
comes
once in a
in
while,
and
they trap a truck driver.
a truck gets stuck in there, and then it refeeds them. You know what I mean, for a bit. Maybe like canned food or anything like that. Do we have any predictions?
And if they do that, then that means they're feeding their food to make it fatter. Or some, whatever they do. I don't like these people coming to doors and knocking on windows. Leave us
creepy.
alone. I
No,
don't
it's,
like it.
I guess I
Love
like.
the show, but that's some creepy shit.
I like. Well, I kind of already gave you the prediction about the how these things are and how they
Okay.
deal with you and like how they.
I'm gonna say that I think somebody, I think somebody here has been here, left, and been back. Like
that on record.
somebody in the town leave the island and come back, whereas most people can't return, kind of thing.
Right.
So I think that somebody in there knows how to come and go.
Okay.
And my one prediction is that I'm thinking that time is involved. I'm thinking honestly, I think that kid is either seeing the future or seeing himself in the future, or himself as in the future is there and is folding in on himself.
He also gave another prediction about saying that lady that was telling the story about her sister's a liar.
Oh no, she's a liar.
You don't think that's what happened?
I think that's what happened in
Because
her mind.
we're basing the idea of
So you
them
think she was-
torturing off of what she said.
Yeah, and that's my point. I don't.
So you
think,
don't
I
believe
think that's
they did
what
that?
happened. I'll ease off it a little bit, and I'll say maybe she's unintentionally lying. Maybe she's saying they tortured her and all that. And
I don't think she genuinely
I don't
still
think
heard
she
them.
saw it.
I don't think she still
Right,
heard
I think
her.
It was just a psychic
I think that was
impression from trauma or whatever, and she was just putting her dramatic spin on it to make the story more impactful to this lady. She's trying to let her know how serious it is that we follow these rules here.
Right, and I think it's that the rules and the things about this community. Like, okay, so like, imagine your gym, right?
Okay. Oh, the explaining the rules. I'm so glad you brought that up.
Dude,
we didn't discuss it
Like,
at all.
so like,
When they're like, don't even stop them driving yet. Let them keep going. You think they're ready yet? And she goes, this is the cruelest part. That they still are searching for an exit.
Well, and the whole like, well, these people pointed guns at us. Like, I'm sure they don't want to hurt us because these people are pointing. Like, their point of view is, oh my God, we're being kidnapped by these crazy hillbillies in this crazy hillbilly town. But no, these people are trying to keep you alive.
Right.
And this is the way, because you're not going to believe what we say. We can tell you all of this, but you're still going to try to run out the door. So we got a guy with a gun by the door to prevent you from doing that, so we all don't get killed.
Right.
Can I ask you a question?
Bro, the juxtaposition, is that the right word?
It is.
Of that is absolutely fascinating, which was like one of the thoughts I had while I was watching, just like holy shit, I would want to run too. I'd be like, you people are all fucking crazy.
Yes.
Give me my kids, and I'm getting the fuck out of here.
Yeah, and
they're just like, yeah, no, this is your life now.
Would it not? Be
This is going to be the hardest
it's
conversation
been 3
you've
years,
ever had.
6 months, and 17 days.
Would it
that I've
not
been here.
be more effective to keep the spike strip permanently laying in the street? The minute a vehicle drives through, they get spiked.
No, and I'll tell you why.
Why?
Because then it would feel like you're being set up.
No, but hear me out. I don't care how you feel.
Well,
Because
But
here's
it's
what
important to them
Here's what happened.
ingratiating
They
themselves into
wound
the
up
society.
spending the night in an ambulance, or not an ambulance, in an RV, and almost dying
because they
was
let
running
them.
running out of time because they let these motherfuckers drive around 10, 15 times in a row. And it's like, bro, spike strip them right now, and then act like, oh, I didn't know this happened. Oh, you crazy teenagers, they always doing something
gonna
stupid.
say that
Let me go get you some new tires real quick, and then I'll slow roll them until the sun go down, and then when they start
That's not
seeing
bad.
people walk
That's
up,
not a
I'll be like,
terrible,
okay,
like-
listen, we lied to you.
I think that the place
You're gonna
caused.
die if you go outside.
I think the place or whatever caused that accident to prevent it from them getting spike stripped. Like, I think that was meant to happen for whatever
Here we go.
reason.
Here we go.
What about that other guy that
Joe,
didn't
show him your
guy
shirt,
that
man.
didn't seem drunk?
Okay, so
That was
here's
that was
another
he
thing.
was
weird.
out for
Here's
something.
another detail. Here's another detail I think I missed. The accident.
And why did they
It was
make
only
a big
two-
deal
it
about
was-
it being two vehicles?
There was only 2 vehicles involved.
They
right?
made an incident because
But-
most people
okay,
aren't driving there.
So there was the
But
guy.
they made a really big deal about this
So
being two vehicles.
there was the guy that was like drunk, right?
Mm-hmm.
but not drunk.
Okay.
It was all
It was like high
yeah.
and weird.
Okay, but
You're
then
so
there was
beautiful. It was
so
like,
where did the guy come from that she stabbed in the face?
He was in the front
he
seat
was
of
the
that car.
driver.
He was the driver of the car with that other guy?
Yes.
Yeah.
Got
That
it.
other guy was in the
So
back
this is
seat.
something
The
that I
other
missed.
guy
I'm
fell out of
frozen.
the back seat.
Oh, I can fix that. Yep, that's exactly it.
I think I went down a little bit.
There we
Yeah,
go.
all good.
Why did he
Like-
look scared when it came back on?
Yeah.
He was like, oh.
That's my scared face.
He did the Hank Hill voice.
What was your question again?
Shit.
We're gonna have to do the other two shows on the next episode.
No, they're not that long. But,
What
No,
were
I'm
we
talking about how long we've been
What?
talking on this one.
we've
Oh,
only been
my
an
question
hour.
was where the other guy came from. So I know both those guys were in the car. The drunk guy or drunkish
they
guy,
were-
and then the guy that
But
she
to be
murdered.
clear, all of them were new people to the town.
Right, but they all got in the car. That's what was my question. Was Toby was the guy, right? The guy's name that she stabbed.
Toby, yes. And
So
then
that
I
was-
didn't
so
catch
he
the
came-
other guy's name.
Okay, but he came from the car. why did he end up back in the town and the other people didn't?
Because the guy was in the back seat, so he must have, in the car accident, flipped into the back seat or something and got knocked out. So when he woke up, still messed up on whatever, he crawled out, and then the rest of them came out of the thing and found them. The
RV?
The RV, yes.
Mm-hmm.
And then
And then the
locked
people
him
from the
up
town came running up.
Well, the people from the town found him first. The sheriff found him first. Asked him, was he all right? Dude was saying,
And then
oh,
it was,
so
there's
they're
more
not-
people.
and then
So-
he handcuffed him and said, stay right here.
Right, but they had already taken him back. The EMT had already taken the guy back.
So they're not far from the town.
Or no, the EMT didn't. Somebody else
On this,
did.
this
No,
accident
the
site
people
is
that was driving,
the
that was the
cop.
son.
this
The cop and the
accident
son.
site is within whatever
It's within
It's
the
before
radius.
the
radius or
It has to be, or else
Hex
they
or
wouldn't be able
whatever.
to get
Before
to
the
it.
tree.
Yeah, it's before the tree.
well,
Did you guys watch
in
Eureka?
this sense it would be after the
did.
tree.
Eureka had that same setup. You remember that,
Where
right?
they could only get into it a certain way.
No, when they drove into the town, they couldn't leave. You remember the very first episode? They established that, and then when they were driving into the town, they saw themselves in another vehicle driving out of the town, and the father was chastising his daughter who was in the back seat.
Yeah.
So he wasn't paying attention.
I always wanted to watch that show, but
And the
never
daughter,
did.
man, that show was so dope. The daughter saw it, and she saw her father and herself in the back seat of the car going the other way, and that kind of freaked her out. And then once they got into town, then everything started happening. But yeah, that's what. Actually, you know, it wasn't that they couldn't leave; it was that they saw themselves leaving the town as they were entering the town, because that it was some kind of time loop going on.
Well,
So they never the amount of time they were there was nothing. Like it just blipped.
No, because they wound up living there for a very
But
long
they
time.
remember it. But when they
Some of 'em
came,
went-
did they literally leave though as they entered?
you didn't watch it?
No, I mean I watched the first season or two.
The town was set up by geniuses working with the government as a safe haven for geniuses. So basically, people could leave there whenever they wanted. People came and visited all the time. Just government.
Okay, yeah, I vaguely remember
So
that.
yeah,
now.
it wasn't a thing where it was like they were stuck there. It was a thing where he was kind of stuck there because the town almost wanted him to be stuck there, because as soon as he showed up, the number one law enforcement officer got debilitated. He lost his leg, and it's like he had to stay there. It was like they was drawing him to themselves or whatever. So I got that same feeling with this. The only difference being some of the character stuff that they're gonna start doing, I just want them to stay away from some of the most obvious stuff. You know, like just
I would hope that they do.
don't do the tension for the tension's sake. Like I said, for me,
let's let it play out.
I know I'm giving it. That's why I say I'm looking
Because
forward
we
to
did
seeing
that
it.
with Boba
But-
Fett, and it sure paid off.
No, it didn't. It still turned into the Mandalorian to me. But it was Mando. But the guy, there's a guy in the window and he wants to eat Joel's guts. I don't want to argue right now. I don't care what Joel did when he was a teenager. Joel could turn around and
Well,
be
you're
like,
a better man than the people in this town. Now.
clearly, because at the point,
Or
in
they've
which
been there long enough and they know more than we do,
At the
and they have a
point-
good reason
that's
for
the
it.
case, I think. Right
Yeah,
there.
I don't think that's the case. I think it's lazy writing. That's
see.
my prediction. That
You
part
think
of
in
it
the
is lazy.
first
I would say
episode they're
episode
doing
2,
lazy
like,
writing?
right, episode 2. It's kind of hard to call lazy writing.
It was.
They
yeah,
must
it
be
is.
We don't
setting
know
things
that- you
up.
don't know
This is
yet.
all
They
opening
doing,
stages.
You don't
of
know what the
things.
beef is yet.
They doing the father and son stressful relationship thing, and that's lazy, bro. That's all I'm saying.
But
In
what
the
if it's a
survival
good
situation,
story?
it's not gonna be, because I don't see any situation.
Dre's
on the
prediction:
planet.
it's not going to be a good story.
No, I'm saying that beef with the father and son in specificity.
I know that's what I mean.
Stupid.
You don't think it's going to be a
And
good
let's
story?
stop doing that to add tension where tension is not needed. We have flesh-eating zombie vampires, spook spirits with time warp abilities. That's enough
They
tension.
still got to fill an hour, man.
I love how they get
I
everything.
don't want it to all be about that, though. I think
I
think
do.
this show has.
When it comes to tension,
It's got the nice balance
Well,
of,
guess what? They can
of
sit there and talk
personal
about,
stuff and the supernatural
Mom.
stuff.
I missed your mother too. I wish we could get
But
out this
maybe
town.
there's a reason there.
Something.
Maybe the mom died on their way
We
in.
hate each other.
And
I think we need to let it play out.
Look. I'm just going to throw out one scenario.
And listen, I
Just a
can't.
hypothetical.
It's hard for me to sit and argue and agree with either one of you.
Because we haven't watched
Only thing I can agree with here is Joel, and let it play out. Let's see. Let's see what their reason for division
I
is.
only agree with Joel.
No, that's not true.
I'm messing with
Because
you.
he
I'm getting
doesn't
ready-
agree with
no.
me on the Boba
When
Fett
we start
stuff.
talking about Boba Fett, I'm most likely going to be more on your side.
We have
than
one
there.
piece of business before we move on. We're moving on from our main show today. We'll be back next week with more stuff on From episodes 3 and 4.
So if you're watching along, yeah.
But we have one thing we need to wrap up from last week's episode. We wanted to offer a brief and frank apology for Dre recommending Big Bug as something to watch.
And I don't know what. Where did you
Explain
see it?
yourself, please.
Come
Please
to me.
explain yourself.
People of America.
I'm done fucked up.
If the next words aren't "I'm sorry,"
I'm sorry. I was definitely going there. People of America, let me apologize wholeheartedly. Listen, man. Sometimes
Imagine if somebody watched it. Imagine if they watched the whole thing so they could hear
they're
us
waiting
talk
for us
about
to
it.
talk about it.
sometimes the Netflix algorithm is not algorithming, and it's more of a promotion of what Netflix wants you to watch. I saw it. It was suggested to me. Generally, what I get suggested is right up my alley in the ballpark of stuff I like to watch. It looked interesting. I have to admit, to me, it looked interesting.
Did you notice that it was subtitled?
I don't
during the
mind
trailer?
subtitles.
No, did you notice that it was dubbed over during the trailer? Did you notice their mouths didn't match up to what they were saying?
No, I didn't.
Yeah,
But I
that was like the
noticed it
first
as soon
thing
as I turned it on. But I watch a lot of there's a lot.
There's
of,
no problem with it. I was just curious if you noticed.
There's a lot of Norwegian type movies and
Dark.
stuff like that.
Have you ever seen Dark?
And, Dark, that one with
I haven't seen it all, but-
Ragnarok.
Ragnarok with the Thor kid at the high school. Yeah, stuff like that.
But I think when they throw those trailers up, though, so I'm not even gonna really blame you for not knowing that, because when they throw those quick trailers up on Netflix when you're looking at it, they intentionally don't show that.
Right.
Where their mouths don't match up. They're talking, but they're showing action
Back of the
scenes,
head
and they're
or
not
something
showing
like that, yeah.
right. They purposely show it because I think the Americans are more likely to click on it if they
But let's
know
be
it's
clear.
not
Let's be
overdubbed.
clear. While we're talking about all this dubbing and shit, that's not the problem with that show or that movie.
No, that's the least of its problems.
Problem with that movie was that the movie is batshit crazy.
Which movie are we talking about?
Big Bug.
It's not very
Oh,
well.
it just looked awful. That's
it's
my
not
point.
very well put together.
It looked like one of those things where it was trying to predict the future from the 60s.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
And
did you
I
regret
think I
having
got
said it on air?
maybe 20 minutes in, I think.
Where you're like,
Maybe.
why did I tell people to watch this?
No. Honestly, when I turned it off, I was like, I don't even want to hear these motherfuckers tell me about this goddamn show and a movie, how bad it was. I was going to act like it didn't happen, you understand?
I just have a segment called
I
Prior
erased it
Episode
from- Right.
Spillover, and this is one of those things.
I erased that joint from my memory almost immediately. I was like,
But
this was
I
horrible.
promise you going
And
forward,
I think I texted you guys and I said,
You did.
I'm sorry.
we needed to address it on air, and I
Bad.
promise you going forward, we won't recommend things that we haven't all three watched the trailer to. And
I don't want
said,
to watch. Hey, but listen,
we should
I
check
don't
it
want to
out.
watch the trailer. Sometimes you're gonna have to get it.
I agree.
Him not
I'm
seeing the
almost
trailer
on a
for From,
non-trailer.
Like I'm
You might have
jealous
to
of,
catch
of
a
that.
couple of stinkers in order. But here's the good part.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't watch the whole movie. I'm not recommending you guys to watch it. All I'm saying is I thought it was gonna be dope. I turned it on. It was not dope. It was in fact the opposite. So I turned it off.
In fact, not dope.
It was terrible.
So the next day we were like, all right, let's watch the trailer to this movie. And like, dude, it literally looked like bad Comic-Con costumes. Like I was like, Dre must have been watching this on his phone. I don't really understand why.
It might have been on the phone, but I can't remember. Honestly, I just got sometimes I see.
Well, we're
stuff
just giving
and I
you
just
shit,
wanna watch
whatever.
it. But no, I apologize to our fan.
They appreciate that. And
I'm like, no, hey, I watched Big Bug. I want to talk about it.
speaking of things that we appreciated, Boba Fett finale happened. And we're going to talk about the entirety of it because we haven't really gone into any detail on it. We've touched the surface of it in passing.
The entirety
Because
of the series of Boba Fett.
Yes, in the entirety of the series of the Boba Fett, and it will tie into the Mandalorian, as you guys have said repeatedly. So now that we got to see at least what season one's story was, thoughts?
Don't start with me. Start with Jeremy.
No, dude. I mean, it was okay. It wasn't great for bringing a character back like Boba Fett from almost like bringing him back literally from nothing, because he had like 2 lines in the whole movie and literally did nothing in any of the movies, but became this legendary figure.
Right, because he had a cool outfit.
Really, that's
The reason
really
I like the Oilers.
Okay,
They had cool outfits.
uniforms.
That was so random.
Can we just call them uniforms and not
That was
outfits?
so
Whatever.
random.
Still just their outfit. It's what they wear.
It's a uniform.
I like the red, white, and
So
baby blue.
random.
Uniform.
I'm just saying people can latch onto things like that, and I latched onto their uniform, their
Okay,
outfit.
fine. Uniform.
Whatever you want to call it.
Stop calling it an outfit.
It's an outfit.
Football players don't wear outfits.
Yes, they do.
They wear uniforms. Anyway,
If the outfits.
I forgot what I was talking about now, you fucker. You did it again to me. My thoughts on Boba Fett. Okay, I through the first 4 episodes, I thought I was being punked. I was like, you brought this character back after 30 years to handle water disputes between teenagers who drive weird Vespa scooters
Telling you, man, that's a Dimension X
and
thing.
a
That's why I
dusty
liked
old water peddler. I just was like, these are this like, and again, I will preface this by saying stakes don't always have to be world ending for me to enjoy a good story.
it. Right.
Right? This was not good.
See,
did not-
I looked at all of that stuff as team building. Think of it as Gone in 60 Seconds.
Team building, fine. The team building Gone in 60 Seconds was fun. This was garbage.
I enjoyed it. I liked all of those storylines.
I didn't like that. I thought the teenage characters were stupid.
It was a guy that was going from a totally different job and trying to transition into another one and failing over and over again until he figured out, okay, you know what, I need to start reaching out to people and making connections with them. And in solving things like water disputes, he gained...
Not that Star Wars is known for
Ninja
its
Turtles
great
cartoon,
and groundbreaking...
Do you remember the Ninja Turtles cartoon?
Conversation. I don't want to be I don't want to pull a last week's Jeremy, but this
Do you
show
remember
was
it?
bad, Joel.
Do you remember
wasn't
Dimension X from the Ninja Turtles cartoon?
Yeah,
Do you remember when one came through and they came through in that like floating lowrider?
Yeah, the neutrinos.
That reminded me of that. All of them, and then it kind of had a little vibe of like Power Rangers /
Bro, they was on
Voltron,
Vespas.
Which are all like...
with
They was on
all colored
space
things.
Vespas having a low-speed chase
low-speed
with a
chase.
goddamn stand-up comic.
Who was
That
the
guy,
comic?
the guy with the green on, with the little the tail thing head or whatever, he was working for the mayor or whatever.
Oh yeah, that
he was
guy.
a stand-up comedian, bro.
And
He was a jester, yeah, for
he
sure.
was a
I can
damn
see that.
And he was literally a court jester, and they having a low-speed chase with this dude on some goddamn Vespas, and he was in a space Cadillac.
I wanted to go more into the world of
What, bounty hunting?
bounty hunting.
But isn't that what Mandalorian was doing for a bit, and then it got bored of it too?
No, it didn't.
What do you mean it didn't?
I didn't have a problem with
No,
him chasing bounty.
it got bored of it. The show got bored of it because it was how long do you want to see a case of the week?
Bro,
They're telling longer stories with these.
Boba Fett.
And the story of Mandalorian coming into this, all of it serviced him helping Boba Fett.
The Mandalorian parts of this, and I'll argue this with you all day, the only connection to Boba Fett was the very end of the first episode with the Mandalorian was him showing up on the damn planet.
In the same way that the water disputes
none
got
of the
those
stuff,
people in place
none
to
of
be
the
set
stuff,
up as part of his
None
army.
of you don't let me just, you're just going to talk over me?
Because
none of the stuff
you're just saying the same thing. I get it. You're saying that you don't think it led to it, but I'm saying it absolutely, all of it did.
It dealt with Mandalorian parts of the story that had nothing to do with Boba Fett, and at the very end, Fennec Shand was like, "Oh, you come help Boba?" He's like, "Yeah, okay, but I got to handle this one thing first. That's involves in my story. I have to go handle this thing, and then I'll come back and help you out." To me, it just didn't connect well, man. It didn't bring it together well.
I mean,
the only
agree
thing
to
to me-
disagree. That's
The
all.
only thing that
All
he
right,
went
Joel.
to it is,
Joe, I'm gonna need you to.
hey,
I don't want to cast aspersions on your character, and I don't want this to seem like a judgment on you as a person. But I know we all have a tendency to, once we've decided we like something, we'll find a way to see the positive in it. And these
But I liked it all along.
no, I know, but we've decided we like it.
I didn't decide I liked it. It showed me I liked it.
Yeah, but what
it could have turned me off at any
was
point.
horrible.
I disagree. I enjoyed it. I didn't have any expectations for Boba Fett.
The
he was a nothing character to me.
Even the part that you pointed out, I didn't have any expectations because I don't like Star Wars. But even the part that you just pointed out, like the team building part, that's like the little. Say for the audience that might not be familiar, like if you watch a heist movie, and then like you got the two main characters, they show up and then they see the little dude doing
we
something,
need this one that does this, and we need this one that does this. Yeah.
Things. This is not what happened here. This is what he said, but this is not what happened. What happened here was Boba Fett.
He bonded with the Tuskens.
Hold on, wait.
He learned some of their ways.
Wait, let me get to my point.
Okay.
He gathered people who happened to interact with him in any way, shape, or fashion. Whether they be thieves, whether they be politicians.
But that guy came to him. Stephen Root came to him, and he dismissed him.
Let me finish my point.
He found somebody through the conflict.
Let me finish my point. Every single person who interacted with Boba Fett in the show, he embraced it as though this would be a relationship that was beneficial to him moving forward. There was no finesse to it. There was no wherewithal. There was no political savvy. He wasn't looking for specific people to help him. It was whoever showed up, he wanted to be their friend. Some of them happened to stick around. Look at the show. He tried to embrace everybody who he interacted with.
Right.
He literally wasn't going in team building. He was just a dude. And his story was not being told or being controlled by him. His story was happening to him.
His story was taking over somebody else's whole kingdom and trying to find his place in it.
You said it like it's a team building thing, and this dude didn't go out here trying to build no team.
I'm not suggesting he left on a team building mission. I'm saying that's what it became, and each episode was him picking up something and
to Jeremy's point, though,
it was all building to the end.
To Jeremy's point, the team sucked ass.
They won.
No,
they didn't.
Mando won.
No, I think everybody wants to just act like that's the God's gift to Star Wars, and it's fine. They are equal to me.
The teenagers ran off from their spot because everybody got ambushed. Everybody got ambushed.
And again, to me,
they ran off. They came back to Boba. They hid behind a car.
Well, no, what's her name? Fennec came and saved them.
The thing that kills me is for the most part, the only cool fight Boba Fett had was him and Mando back to back, and they were shooting all that. Other than that, he was getting his ass kicked. How did you not know that all of these grimy people sitting at this table weren't going to betray you? How did you not know that? How did you not see that coming?
Wait, who are you talking about?
All of the people that he was like, I just need you to stay not involved. And they're all like, yeah, okay.
No, he even said at the time it was a smart move.
What I'm saying is, how did you not know that they were all going to betray you? They all betrayed you, all of them.
The fact that he was very blasé about it when they told him, said he assumed that was dude, but but it was worth a shot.
He couldn't assume.
But he didn't prepare for it. He almost got all of his people killed.
But they did end up coming and helping, though.
Dude,
the people from Freetown.
Also, wait a minute. Wait a goddamn minute. When did he didn't have none of this shit planned. He wasn't smart. He wasn't savvy. He was nothing.
No, he bumped into people and made the best of his situation. Something a bounty hunter would have to do.
The people was like, I think we should stay here. I agree with them. We should stay here.
Well, they made a valid point of why they should stay there. They said beyond this, it's open.
Just hear the reason why I'm saying it like this. It's not. I'm not just saying what happened. I'm saying it for a purpose.
What's the purpose?
The purpose is he's not a fucking leader. He didn't.
Right, he's learning to be one.
Let me get the whole point. He's not a leader, which means, what am I looking at? I'm looking at a guy who's not an effective leader. He's not an effective fighter. He's not an effective bounty hunter. He's not an effective negotiator. He's not an effective assessor of people. Everything about this dude is a fucking failure.
What are you basing the failure on? The end result or everything that gets to the end
If
result?
it's the end result, then all you have to do is say he won in the end. He's the hero of the story.
I'm
so
saying
he
all
won
of
in
it
the
was him building up to winning. It was all the trials and
but my
tribulations
point
he had to
is,
go through.
Yeah, you just made
I
a
just
loser
never
win. You
thought
made
I'd
a
be in a
loser
world
win.
where he would be so aggressively defending Boba Fett.
I just don't get where you guys are coming from.
It's
I'm
bad.
trying
It's
to
not
tell you
good.
where it's coming from.
Because
it's
to me,
literally
it's-
a show
it's-
about a dude who sucks at
The
everything
story wasn't
he
good.
did.
The only good
I
parts.
enjoyed the show.
I
Because it was not like all the other Star Wars things where here's my favorite part of the show. Okay, one of my favorite decisions that was made on the show. Let me rephrase that because it's not my favorite part of the show. But one of my favorite decisions that was made on the show was when they gave Grogu the decision of choosing the gift from Mandalorian or the lightsaber. And I'm just thinking, oh God, here we go
all right.
again.
And
the fact that it was they made the right choice
Fine.
there.
Great.
That's
I love
excellent.
that. And that's great. We can have that discussion all day about how that happened without ever mentioning Boba Fett's name.
Except it's not in the Mandalorian show,
Well,
and it's in this one.
And that's where I think it's disconnected. Putting those Mandalorian episodes in this and eating up 2 full episodes where you could have done more story building on Boba Fett and left the Mandalorian stuff for the Mandalorian show. To me, it was disconnected.
There
It
had
felt
to be
really
a reason
disconnected.
they did that.
Why? And
The
to me, the
reason
reason,
was because Mando was popular.
seeing now the whole thing, seeing up to the end of the show, the reason wasn't good enough. It wasn't good.
The show wasn't good
It didn't
enough.
mesh together.
What I'm saying is that didn't happen in the Mandalorian. They never did the
I get
reunion
it.
of Grogu in there. This was where they planned to tell it.
I'm saying that was a poor plan.
What
You
is that?
remember this?
I never saw that. No,
Oh,
Wayward
my God.
Pines. I've heard of it.
This
but-
is the Wayward Pines. This is the story from. It just hit me in the middle of this Boba conversation that the show from reminds me of Wayward Pines.
Well,
If you haven't watched it, it's a show with Terrence Howard as the black sheriff in this town where you couldn't leave, and these monsters would kill you that come from the forest. I shit you not.
Okay.
Crazy.
well, okay. So
Yeah,
we'll move
sorry,
from
go ahead.
a show that.
Well, wait, you're
listen,
done.
listen,
You're
hold
done
on,
with
hold on,
Boba Fett.
hold on,
That's
hold
it.
on. I got a couple.
What else
things.
you got? I mean,
We've just decided it's shit, and
I
that's
got
it.
some
We're
good
moving
stuff
on.
to say about
I
Boba Fett.
listen.
I
don't.
I want to
okay,
compliment it.
we can keep talking about it. Fine.
I just want to give.
There was parts of it I enjoyed. I'm not gonna say that I completely hated it.
Because
Right.
he's over here fighting.
Well, you guys
for this
don't
show.
have to agree.
No,
with
no,
me.
no, no.
That's fine.
I don't agree with you because I think the show wasn't good.
It
But what I'm
wasn't,
saying
right.
is there was some redeemable qualities about it. But for a person like me, I'm watching it. I want to see an effective leader. Okay, he might not be. Put it like this. I'm supposed to be complimenting this.
But isn't this supposed to be a guy,
That's-
a fish out of water?
Okay, but that's my point. It's something you have to be effective as. You can't lose on every front and then win at the end with the Deus Ex Machina.
But he's not.
And then you are the hero.
But I don't think he's losing every. He's
lost all
growing
his
every
fights.
step of the
He
way.
lost all his fights. He lost all his.
He learned how to win that.
He lost all his people. He lost all his.
None of the stuff that I say matters. It doesn't matter. Whatever. You guys
Sure.
don't care. You don't want to hear what I'm trying to say.
What did he win at? What did he do effectively?
He
Just
learned
one
the
thing.
Tuscan battle style enough to beat that dude that's supposedly so badass with the
which
the
is another
things.
problem I have with that with the way they did that character.
But that character had a long life already in an animated
and
version.
I think
you told me,
they
right?
ended it in an animated show fashion.
They ended it in the show, in the animated show.
No, I'm saying the way that it ended in
talking about
Boba
the
Fett.
big-eyed dude?
That him I'm beat.
The guy that for some reason they could do his face, mouth moving normal, but still couldn't get Luke Skywalker's right. It was a way better, as you discussed. It was the guy that they hired that did the deep
I
fake.
think it was. Some of that was prosthetic and some of it was animation.
Right.
I think it was a mix of
It's just
both.
weird that they can't.
It was
The
weird.
mouth
and I
just
think
moves.
him
It's
being
incredible.
blue and alien makes it a little easier and a little more
Right.
believable than looking at a human's face of a person that we already have seen.
Right.
You know, this character Cad Bane is the one you're referring to. Is
Right.
For people who might not have watched the Clone Wars.
Well, tell
he
us
was a
what
big
about
character
him.
in the Clone Wars, and he fought Obi-Wan Kenobi, Anakin Skywalker, Jedis galore. He fought Mandalorians. I mean, this dude was a little bit of everywhere and always managed to get away. Like, always had a trick up his sleeve. Always managed. He was one of the best villains in the whole entire run of Clone Wars.
Okay.
He, if I remember correctly, he partially or had a lot to do with training Boba Fett as a bounty hunter, right? Okay, so
I don't know. I'll trust
exactly.
you on that one.
You don't know.
You're right. I'll trust you on that one.
But don't you think that they should have done a better job of conveying that, if that's the case?
But didn't you say
You
they
didn't-
already showed that on Clone Wars?
Okay, but you didn't. But not everybody watched Clone Wars.
But
Not
it's
everybody
canon.
watched. You didn't.
Correct, but it's still
Okay.
canon.
So for the people that didn't watch it,
Oh, I'm not
You didn't,
opposed to
like-
being spoon-fed. You're not
it
wrong.
doesn't have to be necessarily spoon-fed, but like
No,
listen,
I agree with
I'm
your
just saying
point.
that they did not make that history. It was like almost to me, it was like these two didn't even know each other. Like he didn't turn like this is watch out for this dude. You know, like
Right.
I know him. He's dangerous. You know, nothing like to indicate that he knew the guy.
Because
that
they
he
were
played.
side talking when
Right.
he first came up, right?
Right. So
I was trying to
I'm
think
just
if they
saying,
didn't
and
have
then
an
the way that
opportunity, but-
fight ended, where he just like
He
I don't
Tuskened
know,
him.
man.
He did whatever he did. He
Stupid.
busted that one out that the guy wasn't expecting. Now, if that does tie into their past, he wouldn't have necessarily known that he gathered the skills from the Tuskens fighting wise. So he may not have been expecting that.
So the
That's me
Tuskens-
thinking too much about it.
so
But
that guy who trained Boba Fett
Mm-hmm.
is really good. I'm gathering this from what you said.
right.
He trained Boba Fett. Boba Fett was able to defeat him using the fighting style that he learned from the Tuskens.
so it was outside of the realm of what that guy taught him.
So the whole group of Tuskens who was able to teach him a fighting style got their asses whooped by some dudes on some bicycles. that
They
Boba
didn't
Fett-
though. They didn't lose to people on bicycles. They got wiped out by the what's the name of it? The
The
Pike
Pike Syndicate.
Pike Syndicate. They said that they told Boba Fett that they got wiped out by
Right.
the
They
set it up to
bikers,
look
but they
like it.
didn't.
Yeah, and then Boba Fett and a group of dumbass teenagers on
Went and
Vespers
wiped out
killed
the-
Pike Syndicate.
Huh?
The power balance doesn't make sense.
Wait, didn't they go take out the train and stuff? Wasn't that part of the speed biker thing?
No, what I'm saying is
The Tuskens, they helped take them
I'm
out.
saying
They
the
took out the train.
Tuskens are I'm assuming this.
They're gone now. Yeah, they got wiped out by
Yeah,
the
but they
Pike
were
Syndicate
supposed
after
to be
that.
some good fighters or something like this,
Right.
and they got wiped out by the Pikes, who got wiped out by Boba Fett and some kids on scooters.
I mean, and a
Another-
and a Rancor or whatever that was.
Right.
Well, it wasn't Rancor.
No,
You gotta
okay.
have that.
Again,
I give
again.
you that. That was a dope scene too, by the way.
I- okay.
don't care what nobody say. That Rancor scene was fire. I give
Like
you
I
that.
said,
You're not gonna get any argument with me. It was all
I'm
pretty
not,
sick.
I'm not like again. I did not think the show was again. I thoroughly enjoyed The Mandalorian from episode 1. Like I was in. Like I
a
loved it.
bit slow for me, but I hear you. I see why people
I
like
don't
it
get it. I don't understand.
because it was meandering for a while, trying to figure out what it was, and
Uh,
and this one at least kind of knew what it
and
wanted
it
to be. It was
meandered
going
back
for-
over to The Mandalorian for 2 episodes.
Oh, Boba
No.
Fett.
I'm talking about the Mandalorian. It was.
I'm
meandering
talking
for a
about
bit.
Boba Fett meandered over into. I don't know, man.
But
I
it-
just don't
yeah,
understand
it
where you're
didn't.
coming from here. I
I'm
guess
just
we'll
gonna
agree to
say it.
disagree.
I'm
I
just-
don't.
yeah,
I
I'm
almost
just-
feel like you're doing it just.
No,
Listen,
because they wanted Boba Fett helped out Mandalorian in the Mandalorian show,
Right.
so he owed him one.
Yeah, but we didn't get any Boba Fett episodes.
correct.
in The
They were
Mandalorian.
setting up the Boba Fett
Right,
show.
Right. Okay.
And then, in order to make it so that it made sense that the Mandalorian was actually physically coming there to help him, not just, "Hey, I'll get you back someday." You're shaking your head the whole time.
I'm shaking my head because you did not need to tell any of that Mandalorian story to bring Mando to help him out.
But I appreciated
None of it was necessary. It should have
No,
happened.
I'll
It
put
just,
it to you like
to me, it was too far disconnected.
Grogu
Too
had to
far-
be there.
No, wait a
No, he
minute.
didn't.
Hold on, time out.
What do you mean he didn't? He
That's an
stopped the whole thing.
He
Grogu.
just said he appreciated that.
I appreciated that.
That didn't make sense because
Telling
you
me
said
it's
you
the
didn't-
team building. It's the same thing they did with the water story. I appreciated that because it got us two people choosing to be on his side.
Yeah, but Mando chose it at the beginning of his segment. He said,
What
"I'll be
segment?
there. I gotta go do something else." They didn't have to show what Mando went to do.
No. But we needed Grogu to be there to win the battle.
Okay,
So you did need
so
that.
you spent 2 episodes of Grogu talking to a CGI Luke, who you already said you hated.
Correct.
And,
It was better this time. I will give it that. It was better
I
than
think they hired the YouTube fake
Yeah.
dude.
The guy that did the deep fake.
I feel like
guy.
they could have just hired Sebastian Stan. He looks just like him. Like,
that's
what
true
are you?
too.
What's the problem?
The Winter Soldier.
And then just
looks like-
change him a little bit.
No,
he looks like
he almost looked like his
That's what I
twin.
mean. Just
to
tweak
me, like
it from there.
that goes back to my like.
If they had a normal
They could
mouth
have cast
movement-
that dude for Luke Skywalker to redo the movies.
Yeah.
Anyway,
But
that's a
long
whole
story
different
short,
discussion.
The point is,
Right.
he had a good Rancor fight. The show was not as good as we thought it was, but Mandalorian to us is better and what it should have been, and you don't think that is as good as we thought it was.
I
So
I think the shows are equal. Jeremy asked me earlier today, and he said, "Did you like it better?" And I almost said yes, but then it was like, no, they're pretty much on par with each other. Once Mandalorian figured out what it is, which I don't necessarily know what that is at this point. I thought it was all kind of building up to him trying to get Grogu back to the Jedi.
Well, that's not what that show is about. That show is about a religious character who's.
Well, no, I get that that's who he is. He's.
Well, what I'm saying, that's what the show is about.
So
It's
you
about
like the
his
main
person.
character more. That's all that it comes down to.
Pedro Pascal is
I like
leaps
the
and
actor.
bounds better
I like
actor
the actor.
than.
I like the story better, and also just hear me out. Mando, the same thing I said about Boba. Mando failed in a lot of ways. He was naive in a lot of ways, and all. But one thing he had was he was really good at killing people and fighting. I feel like
That's
in
the
order
only thing
to,
you'll respect
no,
from
no,
a
no, no, it's
Mandalorian
not
kind of thing?
No, don't minimize it. Listen to what I'm saying. The point is, the inevitable victory at the end feels a little bit more real to me when the character has something to start with. When you watch a character that has nothing, he fails at every aspect of what it is he's supposed to do. Him winning just feels cheap. It feels cheap to me.
Wow,
'cause
that's
it's
a
like-
weird perspective.
No,
I
it's
genuinely
not,
would have never
because
considered it from that angle.
He failed at everything, bro.
I mean,
He won at the last 20 minutes of the last episode of the season. Mando could always whoop your ass. He wasn't the smartest guy.
so why is that interesting?
And it wasn't
No,
always.
it's not
It
about
wasn't.
being
And it
interesting,
was
it
always
just make
like.
more sense. It feels real.
And his
That
fighting
that
isn't like Mando's. Like the fights that he gets into aren't always like he's not like this elegant Jedi. Like
Yeah.
fucking no, it's always kind of messy and
Yeah,
sloppy, and he gets
but he's
punched, or
out
he
here
makes a
able to
mistake, or he,
handle
you know,
himself.
like
So he's okay to get beat up a little bit, but as long as he wins every fight, that's what you like. I'm trying to.
no. Boba Fett is always Boba Fett. If you watch the show again, for most of the show, Boba Fett either like ran away, or had to
Or
be
got his ass
drug
whooped.
away, or got his ass whooped. He didn't like.
From,
he didn't
can
get
I just
beat
tell
down.
you my point of view on what was happening in the show? It was a character who everybody thought was dead, that decided he wanted to go get revenge and take over a thing, and he had no idea what he was doing.
And he already knew how to fight. He was a bounty hunter.
Facts,
But he
was,
wouldn't have won that last fight without the knowledge he got from the Tuskens.
But this is my point. He was also intimately
They had to show us that in order for him to be
knowledgeable
the
of
guy.
underworld. He worked for
That's fine.
He worked for the Hut.
Like what-
Jabba
like-
the Hut.
Right?
What?
He knew about the underworld.
But he
knew
doesn't
how
know
to-
about the
No, but
day-to-day.
listen, not the day to day. Listen, he understands how underworld figures are. He works with them.
Right.
So for him to just go out and blindly be like, "Wait, look, baby, we all cool. Bubba just want to sit in his chair and we all be friends. Oh, you traded on me. Oh, it's stupid. It was stupid.
So just follow tradition blindly. Don't come in try to change things.
No, not that. It's,
that's what he's trying to do.
You're still making a point that I'm not saying. I'm saying he failed at every aspect of being a person. He does it. And I specifically said, not only does he lose fights, don't lose that. Don't stick to that point and miss the other ones. He loses his fights.
Yeah.
He loses negotiations. He loses at trying to assess characters. He loses.
Then he has to problem solve as a bounty hunter would.
You're missing my point.
I'm
My
not.
point
You
is
keep
he
not making it well enough. Then if I'm
telling
missing
you,
it,
because you purposely trying to stop it each.
because
saying,
each one is
as a
wrong.
whole,
So where do I
he
stop you? Do I just let
as
you
a
go
whole-
forever? I mean,
Each
if
one is wrong, he do. Lose
I
his
have a
fights.
rebuttal for each one, I'd let you get 3 in, and then
So,
I figured
wait,
I
so
could
let
jump
me-
in
so
there.
really tell me where he showed he a better negotiator than anybody else that he was dealing with.
Why does he have to be a better negotiator? He was a bounty
Because
hunter.
that's my point. That's why he has
Okay,
to. He has to be
so your
good at
point is about
something.
negotiating
no,
right
my
now.
point is, see,
Because you just said that's my point.
I don't think he's actually.
I'm
having to
genuinely
make a-
lost
trying
here.
to make a point.
No, I'm genuinely
I'm
lost.
lost.
So I'm
I don't know
trying to
what
tell
you're
you-
talking about.
My point is the
You're
same
throwing
thing
a bunch of generals at him and then
No,
going, "That's my
I'm
point."
Saying the whole time is I'm literally to haven't changed the point. He's bad at everything, and then he won in the end.
Right.
The reason why it's
So he's
easier
not
for
that bad.
The reason why it's easy for me to look at Mando different is because Mando was good at something. Boba's good at nothing. And he won in the end. It feels cheap. It's like the bully.
He had to use a huge trump card too.
It's just like if
I
you
guess
take
I just don't get how you
take
dismiss him winning as being good at something.
If you take that kid,
Because to me, like, dude, like, I honestly, like,
because he had to get there. He made that happen.
okay, dude, like, he swept the dude
He
off his
didn't
feet.
build the team that made the win happen.
they handed him a Rancor.
Who
That's-
handed it to
catch
him?
So I'm saying that.
Wait, who handed it to him? I didn't see a part where they handed him
I
one.
mean,
The Hutts
Jabba
gave him the
Hutts,
Rancor.
The Hutts bothered them. They just gave him a Rancor. He
I
didn't
genuinely
go out,
didn't see that
He didn't
scene.
buy one. He didn't negotiate for one.
I
He
saw
didn't
him
go
drive
for
right in it. I thought he went out and
Matter
got
of
one.
fact, he couldn't even.
That was like, how did you? Like, you must have missed that whole part of the episode where the
Right, I must have gone to the bathroom or
the
something.
two
He
the
couldn't
two
even steal
fat
his own damn
Hutts,
ship.
the Jabba the Hutt's cousins, gave him the Rancor.
Okay.
He couldn't even steal his own damn ship.
His own
He
ship from
went
what?
in to steal his ship. Remember that?
Yeah.
And couldn't fly it right and was crashing it everywhere. He failed at everything.
Okay, so-
And to me, that's lazy writing. It's the same thing as adding unnecessary tension by having a teenager act like they don't like their parent in a situation where
Can
we
you
don't need
propose me a version of this show that
I'll-
made better
that.
choices?
I'll tell you, this is my version of Boba Fett where it's not lazy and stupid.
Just
Boba
where he's
Fett-
winning fights.
No.
Because that's
See,
all
you
that's
keep
important.
Going to the one point. I'm
Is
saying
him
he-
being good at something. I'm trying to follow what you're
That's
saying,
what I'm
man.
saying. Have him
Show
be
me
good
a
at something.
version where he's good at something that's better.
Show me he get his ass whooped, but show me he's an effective negotiator where he could trick people into bending to his will where they wouldn't normally do.
I mean, dude, like there
Is
was
he
a
not
scene.
at that point
no,
now?
No.
there was a scene, dude.
He's not
who was he?
at the end of it. He's not at the point
only
where they
people
respect
he
him more.
negotiated with one time was those dumbass teenagers.
Okay,
When he
so
was
fighting, negotiating, and
he gave them a job,
Right.
and that was it. He didn't
Okay.
negotiate nothing. He didn't. I'm saying, give me a show where he actually does something effectively, so that the win is deserved and not just he won because he's the winner. It's like if a kid go to school and he getting bullied, you're not gonna teach him how to talk to the other kids. You're not gonna teach him how to put them down or fight back or something. It's got to be some reason why he won. Or instead, he just went to the school and the bully got shot by the school shooter, and that kid came home like, I'm the winner. Like, get the fuck out of here. You didn't even earn that shit. Shut up, bitch.
I just don't see how that's even an apt comparison. You're acting like that guy never talk to anybody, and then somebody else came in and did it for him. He
Dude,
wrangled that person in. If he wrangled the school shooter in that scenario, make this guy a target, then it's
You
still
made me spit all over
he's
the goddamn
still
table.
he's still
Joe,
involved.
stupid.
I just don't get why you
Joe
guys
just-
won't give it any credit. Like I get not loving it,
listen.
but I don't get where you're not seeing at least the point that I'm making.
Because-
I'll acknowledge your points even if I don't agree with them. I see where you're coming from. What you're saying is this. How do you not see at least where I'm coming from? On
Because
this
you're
one?
like looking at it from this bright, happy side of things, dude. And it was like
I'm
that to
sorry,
me,
I
it
like
wasn't
the
that
show.
It wasn't that great. It wasn't
Okay,
great.
so what about
you
the
like
other-
it more than you should.
What about
It's-
the other?
I don't
No,
understand
That's
it.
such a
he
shitty-
likes it.
it's-
No, he
it's
likes
dumb.
it
No,
because he likes
dude,
it. He
no,
should
dude.
like
Like,
it.
listen, there was like a point where he was like he said that, but the negotiation thing, like he was like, "Oh, we need to stay in the palace. That's where, that's where we need to hold up.
right.
That's it." And then the girl was like,
Yeah, we
Oh,
live here.
but
There's
this-
nothing past there.
yeah, we need to
We're
go
gonna
over
be
here.
wide
And
out.
he
in
was
the
just like,
open. Oh, fair enough.
"Okay,
Yeah.
I
He said they made a point.
get it. I don't know, man.
No,
I was
wait,
just
wait,
like,
wait. I'll take it back. I apologize, Boba Fett, and the actor who plays that great part of Boba Fett. He did actually assert his own will in the situation one time. It's when the dude went out to negotiate the terms of surrender with the,
And he
people.
wrote that
And
badass
he
shit
wrote
on the
shit
tablet.
That was actually kind of dope. I didn't expect that. He did that on his own. He decided he'd rather die than live outside of what he stood for, and I appreciated that.
Maybe I'm
So that's good.
optimistic. It was a guy
But
finding his
outside
way.
of that, yeah, but he shouldn't be finding his way
Now,
at that age.
all that being
And
said,
I told
let
you
me
that
blow
before.
Let me
Like,
blow
this
your
is
mind at
weeks
the end
before.
here.
He should not be finding his way at that age. He's a
he's
well-known
changing
bounty hunter
jobs.
who's been whooping people.
My
ass
dad was a
throughout the
pipe
galaxy.
fitter for years and a plumber before that, and then he got into real estate.
And
in
if
the
he went into
60s.
real estate and he walked into a goddamn house and he was selling a house and he saw the pipes and stuff was wrong, he would still be able to call from that knowledge of being a pipe fitter all those years to say something about that. He wouldn't just suddenly be like, "Oh, the pipes is falling all over."
But again,
the place.
I'm not trying to oversimplify here. He was a bounty hunter. And he's going into a leadership position where you have to negotiate with people in different ways than you would as a bounty hunter, where you can use fear and shooting people and just killing them and all that shit. He's trying to do this a different way than the Huts.
That would have been more fun version of the show.
No, listen. To him,
watching him be a badass and like fight and not lose every fight that he got.
Oh no, I wasn't saying that.
To him, watching him being a badass would be a better version of the show.
But you have that in The Mandalorian.
Me, watching him do something effectively would have been better to me. That's all I'm saying. It didn't even have to be the fighting. It didn't even have to be negotiating. He could have been a great thief. I don't care what it was. He could have been a great hunter. He could have run around and wrangled he could have caught the Rancor himself or whatever. Any of that would have just said he did something to contribute.
So
to
the fact that he
victory.
wrote it isn't good enough. Mandalorian couldn't write it.
Yeah, but he only wrote it because Danny Trejo was like, just let him see your face first, and the nature did it for him.
No,
he didn't even have to train.
I would have taken a whole nother. I would have taken a whole episode of that.
Okay. Quick query though: why is that different than Luke teaching Grogu?
I didn't like that shit.
No, I'm not saying you liked it. I'm saying why is that cool? But if he's sitting there going, "Oh, do this," and then you can force things. You know, like to me, it's still just somebody else told him how to do it.
I thought that Luke shit was that shit sucked.
I agree.
I didn't like it at all. But I didn't like it for the.
I just think that the to get rid of the Luke Skywalker.
I'm so glad they did.
Well, I don't know. So far.
And so somebody online be like, we want more.
No, it's open to everything now. There's going to be Princess Leia and all that shit.
I'm saying that it would have been cool had David just stuck with the characters that we brought into this from the animated show, like Ahsoka Tano, which was like, okay, well, something told me that I changed my mind. I need to train Grogu. I was wrong. Right. She took him and trained him. And they could have done that whole same sequence with him running through the forest, flipping with her, but with Grogu on her back, trying to train
here's the thing, though. That's not somebody that the common fan would have recognized, because you said it was from the cartoon, right? Her character was started in the cartoon.
They had to start recognizing. We didn't know who the Mandalorian was.
No, I get it. I'm just saying in terms of what they were going for there.
That's
what I'm saying. But we can start embracing new.
I agree, but they were going for the shock value there. They were going for the recognition value, the nostalgia pop. Yes, they were going for that.
Right, which is what I think we all agree.
It would have been fine with her, but I don't think it would have been as effective for what they were going for.
Fair enough, but why do we always need? What he was saying before when we had this discussion about Star Wars is we don't always need that nostalgia pop.
Correct.
Just tell us a good story.
We don't need the Skywalkers in everything.
Right. So I'm saying you could have
to a point of agreement. We all agree. You don't have to put the Skywalkers in everything.
They don't have to be the center of the universe.
Right.
Let's go thousands of years after them or before them or something, like anything.
Luke will wake up out of a coma the Force.
Right. I was in cryogenics.
Right. 7,000 years later. Just the, I don't know, man. I don't know why The Mandalorian or why this show did not do anything for me.
Yeah.
Like The Mandalorian did.
Again, to each their own. Honestly, I get it. I get why you like The Mandalorian. It just, for me, the stuff in Boba Fett, I enjoyed it more. For whatever reason. Maybe I can't articulate it right so you guys can understand where I'm coming from.
I know why you're
you're saying it like we don't understand what you're saying. I understand what you're saying. We're saying it wasn't good.
I'm saying that because every time you make points to me, they don't make sense. And I'm going, I don't get that. And you're like, what don't you understand? It's just, we're both saying the same thing. I don't get why you don't understand where I'm coming from. I'm not saying you have to agree. I'm just saying the points I'm making.
I understand where you're coming from completely. I don't agree with you.
Right.
The show was bad.
Yeah.
Peacemaker was good.
So I guess we just leave it at that.
Peacemaker was good. We all like that.
That's what I was going to say. We'll move into a show where we all pretty much enjoy.
It doesn't sit well with me not at least being able to come to some sort of a resolution on a thing.
Because the show wasn't good. You're going to like the
Fine, then we'll never discuss Boba Fett on this podcast again.
No, we have to.
No, we're never talking about it again.
Well, you like it.
No.
Why
you don't have to watch it.
Why do you have to be stubborn like that?
Why can't you guys at least hear where I'm coming from instead of stonewalling me the whole time?
Joel, I listened to everything you said. I listened to everything you said earlier when we had this discussion already.
Well,
I don't agree with you.
No,
you enjoyed this. If you're seeing it from a different lens or whatever, it wasn't good.
If I'm understanding
I don't.
correct,
You can
if I'm
enjoy it all you want.
understanding
That's
correctly-
fine.
You don't
can enjoy
respect
it.
any my opinion on shows.
That
That's
is-
what we're doing
That's
here.
not true.
If I'm understanding
I
correctly,
don't respect this one.
Right.
Joel likes Boba Fett because to him, this is a show about a guy at the beginning of a journey of building an empire. As
A
it
new
were.
journey. A guy on a new journey. Yeah.
And he looks at it from that perspective.
Right.
The problem that the disconnect that we're having here is for most of the audience who are avid Star Wars fans, you just start watching Star Wars, correct?
I watched them. I think it was like 2014-ish that we did those podcasts.
Okay, so you're talking about within
1 through 9. Remember?
You're talking about in the last 8 years.
Did we do all 9?
What?
Oh no, we didn't do all 9.
Don't,
Sorry.
Don't miss that. Don't
No,
miss
I was
that.
trying to figure out when it was.
Well, what I'm
Roughly
saying is, you're talking about
2014-ish.
8
Yeah.
years ago. You are a very new Star Wars fan. For the people who have spent 20 to 30 plus years as fans of this saga, they had expectations of a character that was almost worldwide, universally embraced. I understand where you're coming from. You're coming from the same place I came from, having not seen the trailer for From.
But didn't you also
Everybody-
say that you didn't have any connection to Star Wars? So like I could see Jeremy making that argument.
I said I didn't have a like for Star Wars. It's
Right.
a difference between not having a like for it but I
He
still
saw
know
it.
the character.
He know the characters.
It's
When he
the
saw it.
same-
You never
to
actually
me-
watched
to
it.
me-
So like you're.
I've seen
you're
it.
To me,
well, now you have, but
to
up
me,
until
effectively
as an adult,
I'm
you
just
didn't
saying,
watch
when
him
we
as a.
started this
to me-
conversation,
to me-
he said to me that he didn't have any
No, I don't
any
like-
expectations going in
Yeah,
because he
I
didn't
didn't.
care about Star Wars.
Yeah, but
so
what
it
I'm
seems
saying
like
is-
a counterpoint argument right now.
No, it doesn't. Because what happens
Not
is
caring,
if I know
seeing
the
something
character,
and knowing the
no.
story and not caring about it are
I
different
know
than just
the
not knowing it.
characters. So what I'm saying is, if you take Boba Fett out of the equation and you do Mandalorian season 3, the book of Qui-Gon Jinn, okay, Qui-Gon Jinn was a Jedi who trained Obi-Wan Kenobi, right? If I watch a show about Qui-Gon Jinn getting his ass beat and not knowing how to do stuff, I'm going to look at the same way that I looked at this Boba Fett show. Even if somebody's new to it and they watching, they be like, man, this guy's on a journey. He's learning how to do this. He's learning how to do this. And I'm looking like, why in the fuck does he not already know these things? Because I know that character. I understand. So what I'm saying is I'm throwing you a bone. I get your point. I understand
You
completely.
get that I'm saying he's never done that before, and now he's doing something from
getting
scratch.
all of that.
Because
I
that seems
understand
to
that.
be glossed over in your
No,
very
it's
last
not.
point there. Was like,
no, it's not. Because
I
you're
get that he's
saying-
doing
you're
something
saying-
new, but
I'm not going to argue that point again because you're saying he's doing something new, and I'm
Right.
saying he's doing something new in the same universe he already lived in, so he should be at least vaguely familiar with how things work. But if you want to get rid of that,
well,
then
I'm saying
fine.
I'm saying like he went
I
against.
say I try to build a bridge here. That's all I'm saying.
What I can't expand upon it. I'm saying he went and fought an enemy of his. Who is he to know his enemy's line of every day-to-day business? Like he's gonna have to figure out some of the messy details there, and that's what this show was. You guys didn't like that. I did.
I
That's
didn't
cool.
see him figure anything out though, Joe. See, I'm trying to
It's like
build
the
a bridge,
water
but when you
dispute. It's
saying
like
it,
the
he
only
didn't
thing-
figure shit out. He walked up to some kids who didn't have a job.
Well,
said,
he went there thinking that other guy was telling the truth, and that the other guy was being reasonable. And what he figured out was that guy was full of shit, and he was
And what episode was
overcharging. 3, or I think maybe.
That was episode 2, wasn't
2
it?
or 3.
That was episode
was
2.
early.
Right.
He still didn't figure out people was lying to his face by episode 4, 5, and 6. My point to you was he was bad at everything, but I'm trying not to fuck that. I don't want to even talk
Yeah,
about
I
that.
get it. I agree he was bad at stuff
was-
until when he won. And then let me blow your mind with this one. The thing at the end, where did he come off going, this isn't for us? At the end of it. He said that to the chick that he hired with him. I forgot what her name is. I'm sorry.
Phoenix Shand?
Yes.
Yeah.
He turns to her at the end of the battle after they won and goes, we're not cut out for this.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
He
And guess
just
what?
did all
And
that
guess
stuff.
what? If the show,
You are cut out for it,
if
turns
the
out.
show survives
Uh-huh.
and they come back with another season, here's my guarantee to you. It'll be far more entertaining because it'll be doing Boba Fett bounty hunter type shit and not Boba Fett regional alderman type shit. So all
Alderman.
so all I'm saying is, no disrespect. I'm just being real. I see where you're coming from. All I'm saying is, for everybody else who's watching it, I don't think this is not an anomaly. This is not me and Jeremy disagreeing with you. Right now, you're swimming upstream.
Right,
Against
but
the
who
current.
cares?
No,
It's just an opinion.
I'm not saying about.
Well, exactly.
I'm not
but
saying
you,
more numbers make it more
we're
right.
listening to
I'm
you, and I
saying
understand your point.
As long
like,
as the point is understood, I'm cool with it.
That's
I don't. We
fine.
don't have to agree. It felt
Well,
very
that's-
much like any point I was trying to make was being stonewalled and then come back with a rebuttal that had nothing to do with it. That's frustrating.
I don't think that's
I
what was
think that
happening.
sucks.
So
Well,
you
we
guys are
can
doing a
watch
lot
it
of
back
yelling,
and
and I
see.
wouldn't say that. Like when I tried to make a valid point, you just continued to talk over me while I was trying to make my point. Which
You
I
had
was
already
sitting here.
made it.
No, I hadn't. I had not said what I was about to say on the.
I
had said it to you
that.
earlier.
I agreed with what you were
Okay.
saying. I knew what you were getting to.
Okay, well, you didn't let me say that to our audience. We had that discussion earlier. You just talked over me while I was trying to say it on the
The
show.
audience does need to hear.
We didn't. I did not make the point that I was trying to make while you were talking over me, sitting here in the show. So that was kind of rude. But like, if you want to talk about stonewalling, that's what happened there.
But listen, we all did enjoy Peacemaker. Peacemaker was dope. I enjoyed the hell out of it. I enjoyed everything except for the death of my favorite character, the police lady. Yeah, it was dope. I enjoyed it. I like Adebayo showing that she
Top
actually
5
did.
openings. One of the top 5 openings to a show.
Are we gonna talk about the whole show or just the finale? I forgot.
Well, we've talked about it briefly here and there, but I don't think we were ever on the same episode when we were talking about Peacemaker.
Well, Peacemaker was
We didn't talk about it. We weren't able to
I'm gonna
discuss it.
butcher
because
some of these names, so just bear with me and pretend like I'm being right while I'm wrong. Johnny Peacemaker was a member of the Suicide Squad, and he went out and he was on a secret mission to fight the Butterflies. The Butterflies turned out that they had infiltrated all sorts of people on the planet, all over the planet. But for some reason, this mission was only to get rid of one cow in one small town in the United States. And it was pretty damn dope. It was a very simple, straightforward mission. It was a very simple premise.
Right, there wasn't a
There's an
whole
alien
lot of like
invasion.
plot twists.
Right, it was an alien invasion.
Except for I guess Myrn being a butterfly
Yeah.
was pretty good. I don't know, man. Like I said, it was an enjoyable show. Peacemaker is now my favorite DC character. I'm not into DC at all, really. But like as far as that goes, like
But we don't want to come off as biased. We don't want to seem like we don't like DC. We got.
I don't like DC. I'm biased. I don't like it. I'm sorry. You can call it what you want. I just don't. I've tried I tried both versions of Justice League, and I'm just not a big fan of Batman and Superman. Just, you know what I mean? That side of things. Like
So
this
you're
is
not a fan
Peacemaker's.
of DC
Peacemaker's.
EU. What you saying? You're not a fan of DC on film currently.
Okay. Currently, yes.
But you don't have a problem with the characters at all. Like you're not a person that like I hate Superman or I hate Batman.
Well, it's just they're boring.
Yeah. Okay. I try it.
I'm not big into those two
I
characters.
agree with you. I don't like
Right.
Batman or Superman. I think they're two of the worst designed superheroes of all time. And I think every time they try to retcon them and make them more interesting, they become a little bit more cheesy. But
I see, and with like the word cheesy, I can like when I'm watching comic book movies or superhero movies or anything like that, I can inherently accept a level of cheesiness.
when I say
because
cheesy,
it is
I
what it
mean
is.
cheesy, like generic as shit. Like when Batman went dark, he went super dark and he was just an emo, and he get more and more emo as the films go on. Like Michael Keaton was like Batman, I'm serious. The Penguin was still like batshit crazy and a wacky character. The Joker was still a wacky character, but Batman was serious. They almost went the other direction with George Clooney for a second. He went a little wacky, you know what I'm saying? And then people rejected it, I think because of the nipples on the batsuit. Dark Batman, and then
The Dark Knight.
what's the boy?
Ben Affleck.
Affleck boy. the Affleck boy went in and he became even darker. He's like, I'm Batman and I lift weights and I fight Superman for no fucking reason. And now you got the dude from Twilight and he like Batman in the what do you call it? Like a film noir Batman and some shit. Like what?
No,
it's supposed to be about Peacemaker. Sorry.
Right.
Batman sucks.
Well, I was just saying like that.
DC
Like,
sucks.
like out of the stuff that I've seen. Okay, comic books. I don't read DC comic books. I don't at all. So like as far as that world goes, I'm unfamiliar. The most interesting story that came out of DC for me came from a video game. Injustice. The story in that game was more interesting than DC anything I'd ever seen in a DC comic book.
Superman was killing kids and shit.
Where Superman was a bad guy. That to me is way more interesting than him as the wholesome farm boy. So what was I talking about?
You like Peacemaker? He's your favorite DC character.
Oh well, okay, no, okay. So what I was saying on film. So there you go. Like so far that the DC, universe, the film universe or whatever. What do you call it? The DCCU. EU.
The DC extended universe.
Extended universe. Okay, so like the movies.
They got a Flashpoint coming up.
Yeah, we'll see.
Michael Keaton coming back.
Yeah, but see, doesn't that right? But doesn't that feel like they are like they're just following?
No, because Flashpoint is an older story.
I get it.
But they're following Marvel and the MCU by making films that's like
dragging
right
in
there with them. You know what I'm saying?
old
Like
character.
it's like okay, we got a story like
they're bringing
that.
back Michael Keaton as
Marvel
Batman
is about
in this
Marvel is
Flashpoint
about to
movie.
do this thing, so let's do the same thing they doing. Let's have multiple Flashes because multiple Spider-Mans on the screen is like super fucking interesting. So let's have the Flashpoint story now. So we're going back in time and we basically doing Endgame. Flashpoint is not Endgame. Flashpoint is about time travel, like Back to the Future, where you change the past, which changed the future. So, but it's like parallel universes within that. So, yeah. I don't know. DC seems to be playing catch up, and they should stop. They should just do their own thing. I think me and Joel was saying earlier that Warner,
if DC just stopped, then we
Warner or
wouldn't get
somebody,
Peacemaker.
Warner Brothers has DC.
Yeah.
Warner needs to go ahead and hire. Come on, Joel, chime in, man. You ain't said shit in about 5 minutes.
James Gunn.
James Gunn, good job, buddy.
You mean to hire?
They need to hire James Gunn and put him in charge of all of the creative
Make
direction.
him the Kevin Feige.
Make him the Kevin Feige of DC, because when you have that one united vision, it'll help with some of the structural stuff that they do, because they structurally the shit is
they're all over the place.
Yeah,
that's part of the problem. Is I think they should when they decided to follow in Marvel's footsteps, they should have truly followed in Marvel's footsteps and played the long game.
Start taking their time, but they want their money now.
They wanted to catch up, and they tried to play catch up, and it did not work.
Some of the characters are a little fatigued on the audience. Like with the MCU, we got kind of lucky because
nobody cared about the Avengers.
Downey, yeah, but the Robert Downey fatigue would have started setting in. So yeah, his character is gone. You know what I mean? Like they know when to back off. They have so many characters they willing to lean on, whereas DC for a long time was just like, all right, look, we gotta get Superman in this bitch, and we gotta get Batman in this bitch. We don't give a fuck if the story is about Wonder Woman, Aquaman, whoever we making the story about. Superman and Batman have to be on screen because that's our bread and butter. Fatigue. The audience don't want to see that no more. I don't want. At least
don't
me.
care,
I don't want to
right?
see it. Yeah, I don't want to see it. So yeah, I think Peacemaker was a breath of fresh air. John Cena is great in it. He's one of the few professional wrestlers who take acting seriously. And that's, I mean, unfortunately.
I think you said it. Like, this was, like, if this ends up being, like, his, like, thing,
I think
is that a bad thing? Like, if this ends up being, like, what, like his, number one thing that he's known for?
I think he might.
Aside from the wrestling, aside from WWE?
he might overtake The Rock, honestly. I think
this is a good springboard, because this is some acting chops right here. He had to, like, play this weird, angsty
Dude,
like
he has
scared
a
little boy of a
movie-
character.
He has a movie called Vacation Friends. Anybody see that?
I've heard of it.
It's like him and Lil Rel Howery. And I can't remember the two females that play the prospective wives of these characters. But like
Is
John
Aubrey
Cena,
Plaza in that movie?
No.
No.
I remember everything she's in. Reasons. But listen, no, he played this off the wall crazy drug addict like dude, and he did it well. And like you in a movie with a professional comedian, and John Cena was legitimately funnier than him in most of the scenes. Like you
And
got
that was the dude.
you got Lil Rel Howery
dyed beard.
playing the straight man of John Cena's like crazy.
Oh,
off the
you're
wall
talking
character.
about. Oh,
You know what I'm saying?
oh,
And that's
in that movie.
like you. Everybody can't do that. Like, even when what's the boy's name? Kevin Hart and The Rock team up. They both just wacky, but Kevin Hart is like easily funnier than The Rock. But for some reason, like John Cena was able to hold his own with somebody like Lil Rel, and I thought it was dope, man. And yeah, dude is a good actor. It's a good show. I like the chick that plays Adebayo. Somebody told me she was on Orange is the New Black. Never saw the show. Sorry, but
Yeah, I've never seen it either. I think I tried one episode back when it was
But
like
I
at its
like her.
popularity. You ever watched the Orange? Is the
Yeah,
New
I
Black?
watched a few seasons of that.
he said seasons. Joe watched that shit because
It was like 7 seasons or something.
Really?
Yeah, there was a lot of seasons of that show.
I saw the girl from that 70s show on the first scene that I turned on and I turned it off. I was watching Women in Prison show with improper motivations. So I turned it off. Anyway, long story. Hey, listen, man. It's late at night. Ain't nobody should be listening to this if they ain't got no. The point is, John Cena's good in the show. The actors in the show was good, and some of the acting. Well, actually, I couldn't point out anybody that didn't feel like they pulled their own weight in the show. Even the little weird dude, the Judo Master.
Judo Master was
Judo
hilarious.
Master, man. Judo Master helped.
With the Cheetos?
Yeah. Eating those Fritos or Cheetos or whatever the hell it was.
He beat the guys up out of the side of the gas station. But like, what's his deal? Is he a butterfly? Why is he still alive?
Because they didn't kill him.
Well, obviously.
No, I'm
like,
saying
when he
they
took a
only
bullet
shot
to
him
the
in the chest. They helped him right after that.
Oh,
Like, they could have left him to die, but
Okay.
they didn't want to kill him because their objective wasn't to kill people. It was to kill the butterflies.
right.
So they helped him. I think they was going to
And so by the finale, we determined that there was no coming back from becoming a butterfly. Like, they killed your brain. Like, they ate the inside of your skull.
pretty much. Pretty much.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. They killed my girl, though. They could have kept her on the show. I would have loved to see her in season 2 move up in rank or something like that. That would have been dope. But, I mean, it is what it is. They didn't fire Robert Patrick from the show. That's a plus. He's one of my favorite actors. I don't like the character.
Yeah, he dextered his way in.
Yeah, there you go. I don't like
The White Dragon.
I don't like the White Dragon. I don't like.
But he's a good actor.
By nature, I don't like racist characters. But Robert Patrick, fucking is Robert Patrick, bro. I want him in the show. So
Liquid
we got him.
Terminator.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, this dude was the skinniest, menacing dude in the history of film.
Right.
Until Willem Dafoe popped his head back out like, you remember me?
Right.
I think Willem Dafoe can scare a mirror. I'm not sure. He might. Anyway.
Oh, dude, like, could you imagine his face in like as one of the From creatures? Willem Dafoe standing out there with that smile. Yeesh.
Joel is gonna walk across the yard. I don't want to give too many clues as to our location in case somebody decide they want to kill us one day. But Joel is gonna walk across the yard and go home. Jeremy is gonna walk across the yard and go home. I'm gonna get in the car and drive for an hour by myself.
Don't stop.
And he's talking about a sentient, omnipresent Willem Dafoe. This is, first of all,
That's what it would pull from my memories is Willem Dafoe's face.
right. Oh my god. Oh, they. Okay. I don't want to go back there. We finished. We finished with that show. But Jesus Christ, that show From is good for 2 episodes. And now I'm thinking about the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man from
Ghostbusters.
Like, what if that's kind of what they doing? Pulling your fears out of your head. Oh, I don't.
Well, I don't know, man. Like it's the boy on that the daughter was looking at on the porch is
I'm going back
a
home and
weird
watching
thing.
it
Like
tonight.
she didn't call him by name, did she?
No, he just said her name.
Right.
She started walking towards him almost.
Right. And she didn't say like
Thomas. She didn't say Thomas.
Right.
right. She just kind of looked at him, almost like it was almost like
she was trying to
"Are
figure out
you
if she knew him.
who I think you are. Like I don't know. It was like
See, and that's the other
faint
thing, like Joel was
recognition.
saying earlier. That thing, that's the stuff that I get. Those character parts we're gonna have to discuss in the future. Like we're gonna have to figure out who Thomas was, what happened to Thomas. But they don't seem to be angsty about Thomas not being around. You know what I mean? It's not like.
But the mom mentioned it. The fact that it was mentioned before that scene with the boy being a teenage boy being there on the porch. I was assuming it was another son they had.
No,
but I didn't guess
that's
which.
what
I mean, like you thought about it way more than I did. But like I
that's
actually
what I'm
like
saying.
where
Like,
you're going
for
with
me,
it.
I'm sitting here like, what I'm saying is I don't see, like in that show. Oh my God! It was a show where the brother had that the Melissa McCarthy show. It was a short run show with Melissa McCarthy and what's that chick, the blonde chick that always got a lisp? She's Australian or something like that. Whatever. She used to be married to Tom Cruise, one of them. Anyway, she was a self-help guru, and Melissa McCarthy was there. But the point is, the family that came there, the son had committed suicide a couple years ago, and they had problems with each other from the jump. Because the father felt responsible, the mother felt like the father was not mourning as much as she did, and the sister just missed her brother. So they all kind of had that thing, but something about this family didn't feel like they was missing a character, even though they definitely said two different names. She definitely said, "Let's go get this."
She had
dude.
just been traumatized, so
Right.
she forgot where she was and that he had died. Is my assumption.
Yeah, but I'm on to see if that character is not just a character they use so it could be somebody at the window to tempt them. I want to see if that character is something that
It depends
gotta
if it's
be
a show where we get flashbacks or not.
it's lost people. They're gonna do a flashback.
I think it lends itself to it, doesn't it?
They'll have to because we have to see the sheriff's story. They might actually show that scene where the lady was talking about her sister being killed. They might go there.
Do we need right?
It
Because
would be
do we
good to
need
see
to know
who the characters were before they got there.
right or why they ended up? I guess why. Like, is there a reason for why they're there, or is there no rhyme or reason to it at all?
God damn
I
it.
would
Why
doubt that
every
there's
time?
zero rhyme or reason to it.
Right.
Kill it.
There has to be some reason for the whole thing.
You gonna make me kill the damn thing?
Just land. Fuck, things don't usually fly around that much.
Cause they know what I did to their brother last week,
I told you not to kill it.
and he just unbothered by the shit. He just gonna sit there like.
So what are we watching next week?
Well,
We're gonna watch these next two episodes of From. That's a definite. Like
I don't know if there's anything else. Is there anything else? Like Boba Fett and Peacemaker ended.
Big Bug Part 2.
I thought you said there was a bunch of stuff that's current that we should be watching.
I said that before. It was already done. The stuff's already.
Oh, I thought we were talking about that today. I thought you said there's a bunch of other stuff we could be focusing on.
There's some new shows out. Give me a second.
When there is,
I thought we were talking about that today.
in opposition to what?
Instead of just
Oh,
From
oh.
and the other stuff we've been talking about. I thought you said there was other stuff that's current that we should be focusing on.
No. I was saying that.
Oh, like we missed
Before,
some stuff.
we missed like The Witcher,
Okay.
I can't. Well, I had a couple others that we could have talked about, but again, we all work. Time is limited. It's hard to
We'll
watch
just have
everything.
to spin off at some point and let Jeremy and Dre talk about shows they want to talk about, and we'll figure it out. There should be a space for any show that warrants a
You guys
discussion.
want to watch Raising Dion?
You can
I mean,
talk about it with my daughter. She watched.
I watched it.
She loved that show.
I couldn't watch it. I got like 7 minutes into the first episode and was like, yeah, I'm good.
It was okay.
Yeah, I'm good. Oh, now listen, my personal request, you guys could catch up with me on Picard and Star Trek Discovery.
Yeah, I don't know.
Screw you guys, I'm going home.
I don't know anything about that show, like Star Trek beyond the movies, and they're so distant in my brain that it's not something in the same way as Star Wars. It just hasn't permeated.
So then maybe take a chance at watching Discovery. Maybe you'll like it.
I have heard that Below Deck was really good.
Yeah, I watched that as well. I wouldn't watch Picard though because as you have to know a lot about.
Right. I know he was a Star Trek captain.
But no, I'm saying, but that show leans heavily on the stuff that happened before, whereas Discovery literally
that's a brand new one.
Rewrites it rewrites the whole story of Star Trek because a lot of people don't know Captain Kirk wasn't the first captain. In the old Star Trek show, the show started with Captain Pike, Christopher Pike. And then when he got trapped on this planet, that's when Kirk came in. This show starts off with Pike as the captain, and he continues forward as the captain for like most of the first season. And then I don't want to talk about the rest of it, but the point is they dispense with the whole Kirk thing with Scotty and all that. None of that stuff happened. This was Christopher Pike. He never got trapped on this planet. Actually, they even they upped it.
So it's an alternate universe thing.
Yeah, and which was dope. I have to say this about that. The dope thing about it is, if you're an old school fan like me of the show from the 70s, some of the alien creature design was like 70s level design. It was TV show, not movie level. They actually brought back the aliens that Pike wound up getting trapped with in an episode, and they like updated their design respectfully, kept them looking exactly the same, yet somehow up to date. It was really dope how they did it. They pulled it off, and then Pike left the show after that, and it's a show about Michael Burnham, who's what do we call him, Spock? She's Spock's sister, who's not half human. She's fully human. She was she was adopted by Spock's family. So yeah, the show is dope as hell, and
I've heard good things about Star Trek.
It does
Discovery.
girl power in a way that other people come off as being pandering when they do it. When you see all the girls line up at the end game and be like, that little pose and shit, that shit goofy. But this does girl power by giving you realistic characters doing realistic stuff, and they just happen to be women. It's very well written. You don't have to like Star Trek to watch Discovery. You might have to like Star Trek to watch Picard, though. That's me recommending that to the
And we'll all still be friends after this.
We know we won't.
This is how to watch TV.
Oh, Jesus Christ. We got hot in here. I can't let y'all talk to each other no more.
Wait to that end? How do I stop that?
Oh, my God. All right,